Chapter 81 Mei Terumi, is Bai Ye, this idiot, coveting my beauty? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 81, Mei Terumi, is Bai Ye, this fool, coveting my beauty? Aren't you going to continue to fight for Jiraiya? Although he used some tricks, Shikaku felt that it was actually okay. After all, Tsunade lost the bet, and that was Tsunade's own business. Bai Ye just had to pay the money. Both parties probably knew it well, as long as they didn't interfere with each other too much. In fact, Shikaku was also happy to see Tsunade stay in the village to teach medical ninjas. The medical ninjas in the village were no longer as glorious as they used to be. Tsunade's importance is self-evident, and Jiraiya may not be as important to the village as Tsunade, but he is also a Kage-level combat force. Don't you really want to fight for him? Shikaku just saw from Bai Ye's attitude that he didn't seem to want to fight for Jiraiya, otherwise he wouldn't even offer any conditions. He won't stay in the village. He has his own things to do, so don't interfere with him too much. He will come back if there is a problem in the village. The Child of Destiny, is it worth it to spend a lifetime searching for this so-called Child of Destiny? Bai Ye didn't know, but he didn't interfere with Jiraiya's thoughts. But, with his appearance, is Naruto still the Child of Destiny in this life? I see, then the village can start the medical ninja plan, and select some people with good medical talents to train. Now it seems to be really the same as you planned. Then you should be able to handle it. No. You want to be a hands-off boss again. Who is the Hokage? Shikaku really wants to quit now. I'm going to leave Konoha for a while, so I need you to help deal with some things in the village for the time being. You want to leave Konoha? Shikaku was stunned for a moment after listening to Bai Ye's words, and then immediately prepared to stop him. What a joke, you are a Hokage who has just taken office for a few days and you have to leave the village for a while. Well, there is a problem inside the Kirigakure. I am going to go there to deal with some things. This is also related to the plan I mentioned before. Don't worry, I will be back soon. Please, boss, how long does it take to get from the land of fire to the Kirigakure? What if there is a space ninjutsu? You. Shikaku looked at Bai Ye with his eyes wide open in disbelief. He even knows space ninjutsu. And if that's the case, when dealing with the third Hokage, Bai Ye didn't even use many tricks. Okay, I'll leave the village to you. This period of time will be the same as before. After saying that, Bai Ye patted Shikaku's shoulder and disappeared from the Hokage's office, left behind Shikaku looking at the documents, wanting to cry but without tears. It's different from when he was Minato's Hokage assistant. Why does it feel like everything has changed after taking office again? Kirigakure, before, Bai Ye came here once using Kamui, and also found out what the intelligence of Kirigakure was like. At present, Mei Terumi and Yuancher have already started planning this action, and they are ready to start recently. Bai Ye wants to see if there is a chance to win the lottery, and the other is to realize part of his plan. Since Wu Ying started first, he might as well switch from Sand Village to Wu Ying. Qin, what's wrong? In a secret meeting room in Wu Ying Village, Mei Terumi looked up at Qin with a strange expression. Someone. Who? Mei Terumi was shocked, and Yuancher and several people who were planning to resist looked around vigilantly. If what they are doing now is discovered, the family behind them will be killed together. Aha, it's discovered. You are not hiding at all. Qin looked at the corner, and a figure walked out of the dark. He didn't notice it just now. If the other party hadn't appeared deliberately, he wouldn't have noticed that someone had sneaked in here. Nice to meet you, Mei Terumi. I'm here to discuss cooperation with you. Bai Ye considered whether to change his mindset to cooperate, but then thought, he was already so powerful, and he was still timid, so he might as well find a piece of tofu and commit suicide. Besides, he didn't come here to beg for cooperation, so if he didn't cooperate, forget it, and change the plan later to include the Mist Shadow in the first target of destruction. It just so happened that they were in internal strife. So he might as well kill them all. Who are you? Uchiha Bai Ye, the fifth Hokage of Konoha. The Hokage of Konoha? How dare you come to our Mist Shadow? The vigilance in Mei Terumi's eyes became even stronger, and at the same time, the people around her exchanged a brief look, and if Bai Ye made any unusual moves later, they would immediately take action. Then, she glanced at Qing, and after getting the affirmative nod from the other party, she could also confirm that the person in front of her was Bai Ye. Qing was in charge of intelligence, and with a white eye, he could tell whether the person in front of him was a disguise. "I'm here to seek cooperation with you. Are you interested in listening?" The Kirigakure and Konoha have a deadly feud. The Yuancher looked at Bai Ye, but he was not in a hurry to take action. This was mainly because according to the information he had obtained before, Bai Ye had easily killed Sarutobi Hiruzen and succeeded to the throne, so they might not be Bai Ye's opponent if they took action. Besides, since the other party came to cooperate and came to their territory, there was no need to rush. If you want to say that, then all ninja villages are hostile, but sometimes interests are the most important. Now the fourth generation of rule has exhausted Kirigage, right? You will overthrow Kirigage in the future. Do you want a recovery? Is not that simple. There are no permanent enemies in the world. As long as the interests are suitable, enemies can come together. What do you mean? Terumi Mei frowned, actually somewhat understanding Bai Ye's meaning, but how was Bai Ye's cooperation method? Alliance, we can have a military alliance with Kirigage, and at the same time we can also interact with each other economically. When the time comes, we Konoha will sell food and other materials to Kirigage. As long as Kirigage opens the market to us, you Kirigage shadows things can also be sold to us. When the time comes, we will take over the Kingdom of Waves. How about we use the Kingdom of Waves as a transit point to do business with each other? This? With huge benefits in front of him, is Konoha's newly appointed Hokage a fool? You mean to form a military alliance with us, Wu Ying, and at the same time provide us with supplies? That when Master Yuan said these words, he felt a little incredible. How is this possible? What are the benefits of Konoha doing this? Yes, that's what it means. As long as you completely open the market to us, there will be no additional conditions, and the supplies will not be priced too outrageously. You don't have to buy them if you think they are too expensive. Bai Ye stated his conditions directly. In the view of Terumi Mei and others, these conditions were Bai Ye's offer of benefits. Konoha is now the largest village in the ninja world, and there are many benefits to having a military alliance with Konoha. Konoha and the Mist Ninja Village are relatively far apart, so the conflict of interests between the two sides will not be like that of several other ninja villages. What's more, after experiencing this civil war and the previous blood mist policy, their Kirigage strength has long been not as good as before. Now Konoha has taken the initiative to come to cooperate, which is obviously beyond the imagination of several people. In addition to the development market Bai Ye mentioned, of course they can open it up. Due to the blood mist policy, the supplies here in Kirigage are extremely scarce now. If Konoha comes here to do business, even though Konoha will make some of the money. But being able to restore the fog shadow is obviously a good thing. Do all Uchiha people have no brains? The cooperation offers such favorable conditions for them, which is simply a sign of stupid people with too much money. You sure? But when Terumi Mei said this, her tone was a little hasty. Bai Ye knew from her tone that it was done. It seems that Konoha is at a disadvantage, but when their Konoha products are flooded with Kirigage, they will wipe out all Kirigage's local products at extremely low prices. To buy food, you need to import Konoha seeds. Konoha has high quality and cheap products. Meat and other food also need to be imported from Konoha. At the same time, all markets are open to Konoha. When their luxuries are fully available and they can take away some of the money, you will have to rely on them for all your finances and food, and in terms of force, they are no match for Konoha. Financial hegemony, military hegemony, and food hegemony. Whoever has a bigger fist will follow the principle. If you control finance, you will control the country. If you control the food, you will control mankind. As long as you lose a little in the early stage, controlling the fog shadow later will be a simple matter. The country of water is extremely poor now, and with the various tricks Mizukage has done because of being controlled by Obito, it is the best time for Kirigage to master it now. Of course, we are here for cooperation. We in Konoha love peace the most. As long as you open your market to us, we can make some money. How about we think about it first? Although they already had an idea, Terumi, Mei and others decided to discuss it. At least you can't agree immediately, otherwise what if Bai Ye regrets it? And they can continue to discuss and see if they can add some other conditions. Of course. Then I'll come see you again at this time tomorrow. Good. Would you like to find a place to stay? It seems that Bai Ye is being given a place to live, but in reality, Bai Ye is being monitored. If Bai Ye lets him run around in Kirigakure village, they won't be worried. Sure. Bai Ye nodded, knowing what they were thinking in his heart. Then stay at my house and I will have someone prepare a place for you. This is a secret meeting room in the Tera family. In case of accidents, Terumi may decided to arrange for Bai Ye to stay at the Tera family, which would also make it easier for them to monitor Bai Ye. Byakuya did not refuse, and lived peacefully in the room arranged by Terumi Mei. By activating the Haki of seeing and hearing and using the thunder fruit to spread, the situation inside Kirigakure village was now clear to Bai. The voices of Terumi Mei and others' discussions, as well as some confidential information within Kirikage village. Get ready to take action. Yi Tsang, who was sent by Shain to save his life, is here. Remember the previous arrangement. Yes. Start to act. Yi Tsang. Bai Ye listened to the low voices of the Anbu, and a flash of surprise flashed in his heart. Is this woman not dead yet? In the original book, there is no detailed description of when Yakura died, but it was most likely during the Blood Mist period, because after Terumi Mei came to power, there was a high probability that she would not ask Sagakure for this, and her primary goal was bigger. The probability is to remove the blood fog and restore the fog shadow. He should be considered a shadow-level powerhouse, right? But after experiencing betrayal, it seems that it is not easy to recruit. It's hard to trust other people anymore. Bai Ye hesitated for a while, but felt that this should give him a chance to draw a lottery. Terumi Mei is bound to succeed here, so she may not necessarily give herself a chance to win the lottery, so there seems to be something missing here. He glanced at the direction in which the Anbu was leaving with Haki, and a flash of thoughtfulness flashed in Byakuya's eyes. Then, a pair of kaleidoscope patterns appeared in the pupils of the Tera family ninja who was watching Byakuya outside the room, and then disappeared. Strange, what happened just now? The ninja glanced inside the door. After confirming that Byakuya was still there, he secretly thought that he was thinking too much, and in the basement, Terumi Mei was also that he was discussing with Yuanshi and others the conditions proposed by Bai Ye before. Is there any conspiracy, Master Yuan? Terumi Mei was indeed dazzled by Bai Ye's various conditions at first, but after she came to her senses and calmed down a little, she was a little worried about whether there might be some conspiracy. After all, the people of Konoha have no reason to support them. He knows our situation very well. I think it's very dangerous. Qing made his own remarks. He believed that Bai Ye knew Wu Ying too well and that such a person was too dangerous. And no matter how you look at these conditions, they are all favorable to the fog shadow. The other party is not a philanthropist, so how could he treat Wu Ying so much? Perhaps that Uchiha brat has taken a liking to Terumi Mei? Genshin joked, but after seeing Terumi Mei's unkind eyes, he changed his mind and said, I think we should see if there is anyone in need of Konoha here. Yes, it's impossible for the other party to do charity. In fact, the words he just said were not random. He had been thinking before that there was something worthy of the other party's attention in Wu Ying. After thinking about it for a while, I didn't expect that Genshin made a joke to relieve the embarrassment, but it seems that Terumi Mei has always been too obsessed with getting married. What do we have? Terumi Mei thought carefully about what Genshin said. The basis for cooperation between the two parties is that the other party has what they need. Wu Ying's current situation is that he wants everything but doesn't have anything. In the past, they had powerful force, but they were worthless in front of Konoha. Moreover, after the Blood Mist policy, Kirikage's internal affairs were already in decline. The more powerful ninjas either defected or were killed by the Blood Mist. Not many came down and stayed in the village. There isn't much blood left in the village. They all died under the Blood Mist policy. Is the other party really just here to make money? Thinking of this, Terumi Mei fell into deep doubts. Chapter 82. The kidnapping was successful, and Obito's desire to kill Kakashi became even strong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 82, The abduction was successful. Obito's desire to kill Kakashi became even more serious. It seems like we really don't have anything worthy of Konoha's cooperation. Terumi Mei held her forehead, a trace of distress flashed in her eyes. The more she looked at it, the more it looked like a trap set by Konoha for them. Is Kirikage, who has no use value, worth paying so much for Konoha? It was impossible for Konoha not to want to get something from them. The country of waves. A glint flashed in Yuanshir's eyes. Bai Ye had said before that he would use the country of waves to open up business with the Mist Ninja village. The country of waves is located on an island between the three countries of fire, thunder, and water. The kingdom of fire is in the center of the land, with earth in the upper left corner, wind in the lower left corner, thunder in the upper right corner, and fog across the sea. There is actually a sea between these three, and the kingdom of waves is at the very center. Middle position, the three families all maintained a tacit understanding and did not take action against the country of waves. The main reason was that the country of waves was too poor and the only way to get there was by boat, which was extremely inconvenient, so it was considered completely abandoned, and Byakuya's arrival this time brought up the kingdom of waves. If we look at Uchiha's character of fighting, and the fact that Byakuya's way of ascending to the top was to directly overthrow Sarutobi Hiruzen, he is a hawk's shadow, then at this time it seems reasonable to find Kirikage and exchange these conditions with them to support Konoha in taking over the kingdom of waves. So you are trying to say that Konoha wants to incorporate the country of waves into their territory. Terumi Mei took out the map and looked at the location of the country of waves. If this was really given to Konoha, it would be very simple for Konoha to attack the Mist Ninja village in the future. However, Konoha has to take a detour to get to the country of waves, which seems a bit far away. Konoha does not need to deploy ninjas here. I don't rule it out, but I don't think it's necessary, right? Genshin. If they take this place just for future wars, then they can just attack from Konoha directly. As for Kumogakure, they won't attack by water, right? That it seems that the country of waves is not suitable at all. Terumi Mei analyzed it for a long time and finally thought that it was unlikely to be the reason for the country of waves. What you said makes sense. Perhaps the other party in the country of waves really just wants to do business with us because they know the internal situation of our village. Now is the time to make money. In addition, it is also because the other three villages will take advantage of their Konoha. It is not yet stable internally to take action against Konoha, so we have joined forces with Kirikage, so that using the land of waves as a medium, we can attack Kumogakure together, and then they can use their main forces to deal with Sangekor and Iwa Ninja. Also serves as a deterrent. Master Yuan thought for a while and felt that this was more reliable. Byakuya's way of ascending to the throne is doomed. That Konoha will not be very peaceful recently, and the other ninja villages are all masters who will take advantage of the situation, or maybe Byakuya saw that Kirikage was also weak at this time, and the two sides could temporarily unite. They showed signs of joining forces, and they also captured the land of waves, so Kumogakure would actually be wary before taking action. Without Kumogakure's intervention, Iwagakure and Sagakure did not want to face most of Konoha's ninjas. Sagakure had not recovered yet, so Iwagakure had to be responsible for most of the firepower, so of course Iwagakure would not do it either. So is this the purpose of Bai Ye? After several people put it all together, they finally felt that this was the most reliable reason. Then it seems like we can unite with Konoha, right? That at least it is best to unite with Konoha for now. Although they can also take the opportunity to start a war with Konoha, since Byakuya knows Kirikage's situation, it would be okay if they start a war with Konoha and Konoha is afraid. They can get some benefits. If Konoha directly starts a war with you, I'm afraid even Kirikage will be defeated. They can't go through any war at present, and they may not succeed this time. Let's unite, and then we agree to his conditions, and then let him help us this time. Although it is a bit embarrassing to let the shadow of Konoha take action to deal with the shadow of his own village, but if they can reduce their losses, why not? And since Byakuya has approached them to cooperate, it means that he hopes to see Yagura's rule overthrown. Byakuya shouldn't want to see them fail, right? Just follow the conditions Bai Ye mentioned before, and then let him help us solve the problem of Kirikage this time. By the way, do you want him to take a look at Yagura's genjutsu? After all, Uchiha is best at genjutsu. After Master Yuan finished speaking, he looked at a few people. It was Ao Yong's Byakugan who discovered Yagura's genjutsu. This also explains why they want to end the blood mist policy. They never thought that Yagura, as a Jinchuriki, would be controlled by genjutsu, and they didn't believe it at first, but the current situation cannot help them not believing it. You can ask, I heard that Uchiha's Sharingan can control tailed beasts. Terumi said quietly, and Bai Ye knew so much about the internal situation of the village that she even doubted whether Yagura was controlled by Bai Ye, but when she thought about it, she also felt a little ridiculous. How could she think like this? Byakuya was probably still a child when something happened to Yagura. How could he have the strength to control Yagura at that time? Then several people continued to discuss the details of the operation and the issues to be negotiated when Bai Ye arrived. Shadow Grand Canyon. Yitsang looked at the hazy fog around him. He only needed to pass through here to reach the fog shadow, but she still vaguely remembered that Luo Sha seemed to have said that after arriving here, someone would come to pick her up, because the country's power has been weakening due to the long-term battle with the IWA ninja. Sand Hidden now has to seek help from the Kirigakure village. When Luo Sha arranged to come here this time, Yitsang actually thought that something unexpected would happen, but before leaving, Luo Sha repeatedly promised that nothing would go wrong, so she could only suppress her uneasiness for the time being. Sand Hidden and Kirikage also had a war. Back then, Yitsang killed too many Kirikage ninjas on the battlefield, so he got the name Burning Release Yitsang. Just as she was thinking about it, a figure slowly walked out of the mist. The moment he saw Yitsang, a smile flashed across the face of the mist ninja and he greeted him. This is Yitsang from Sand Hidden. Come on, please come with me, Mizukage-sama is already waiting for you. With that said, he stepped aside to let Yitsang pass. Kindness. Yitsang nodded, raised her foot and crossed over the ninja. However, the moment she stepped over the ninja, a sharp look flashed in the eyes of the ninja behind her, and then he took out a kunai and stabbed Yitsang in the back. Looking from a distance, Bai Ye thought for a while, and finally decided to let this ninja stab Yakura's kunai first. There is a difference between being stabbed and not being stabbed. Being stabbed will also help you escape later. He watched helplessly as Yitsang was stabbed unprepared, and then the mist ninja jumped away, and then countless shurikens flew towards Yitsang in the air. Looking at the kunai and shurikens that were getting closer and closer to her, Yitsang resisted the pain in her back and wanted to leave, but she felt as if her body was anesthetized and she couldn't use any strength at all, so she could only. He watched helplessly as the kunai got closer and closer to him. The next second, the space was distorted, and then countless people were swallowed up into the divine space. Obito, who was in the Kamui space, looked at the kunai on his arm and started yelling. He swore that the idea of killing Kakashi was getting stronger and stronger. Do it. Kill her immediately. After the misty shadows missed, they all gathered around Yitsang in the next second, preparing to kill each other again. There was no poison on the kunai, but there was anesthesia, which could immobilize people instantly. I thought that after being stabbed, Yitsang would die, but unexpectedly someone seemed to take action. God's judgment. Dozens of thunder and lightning continued to fall from the sky. The ANBU had no choice but to give up assassinating Yitsang and were about to escape. The thunder and lightning seemed to have locked onto them. A dozen mist ninja ANBU were all killed in an instant by the lightning strike. It's surprisingly useful. In the world of Naruto, facing these fragile creatures, it is quite refreshing to use the ability of the thunder fruit to clear out the minions, but you will die if you are hit by a thunder and lightning. Who? Yitsang held on to her body. She felt like she couldn't exert any strength in her whole body. This feeling of powerlessness made her very uneasy. It's really pitiful. He was betrayed by his own village. The so-called peace talks meant sacrificing the heroes of his own village in exchange for peace. Kirikage's condition was to hand over Yitsang to calm their anger and then unite with Sha'in. Unexpectedly, Luo Sha, those guys abandoned you so readily. Bai Ye's voice sounded slowly behind Yitsang, and his footsteps were getting closer and closer to her. Yitsang's uneasiness became stronger, and she didn't know whether the person behind her was an enemy or a friend. At the same time, she also roughly knew the truth. Perhaps as the person behind her said, she had been betrayed, and betrayed by the entire senior management of Shine. In exchange for peace, she actually had to hand herself over. Wu Ying's actions just now were obviously intended to kill him. Behind him, the footsteps were getting closer and closer to him. The person was squatting on the ground, looking at the delicate face in front of him. Yi Tsang estimated the distance in his mind. Although he was weak, he could try to see this distance. No matter what, I am your savior, but you still want to kill me. That even though the murderous intention was well concealed, Bai Ye still sensed the malice in him. He had just suffered betrayal, and it seemed that his whole body was like a rose with thorns, unwilling to let anyone get close to him. After her thoughts were revealed, Yi Tsang felt a little desperate in her heart. She had no ability to resist the current situation. She hated this feeling, and she probably couldn't even commit suicide. It's a pity that such a beautiful back will have a scar in the future. With that said, Bai Ye got up and used palm magic to treat Yi Tsang's wounds. Visible betrayal is not terrifying. What is truly terrifying is invisible betrayal. As he said this, Bai Ye stretched out his hand and placed it in front of Yi Tsang. Do you want revenge? After saying that, Bai Ye couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Sure enough, mouth escape wasn't what he was best at. I held it in for a long time and all day long, but I still couldn't utter a word. You are not Wu Ying or Shine, who are you? The fifth Hokage of Konoha. After hearing Bai Ye's answer, Yi Tsang was stunned for a moment subconsciously, and at the same time, a sneer flashed through his heart, because at this moment, in her opinion, all the ninja villages are actually the same. When they need her, they will always speak so nicely. When they don't need her, they can be abandoned at any time, just like now, and he saved himself at this moment. After all, he just wanted to use himself to deal with Shine. That's right. I will cause trouble for Sand Village later. If you can join our Konoha, I think it will be fun. You will have to deal with more than just Luo Sha. The decision was made by all the high-level people in Sand Village. You can't deal with it alone. If you go back now, you will only be assigned the hat of mission failure and then be judged. If you don't go back, you will be a traitor. Bai Ye did not hide his attitude, which made Yi Tsang look at him with a new look. In fact, he didn't need to say it. Yi Tsang also understood her situation. If she went back and tore her face with Luo Sha and others, she would eventually be accused of not completing the mission. Because she didn't reconcile with the Mist Shadow, she would turn from a hero of Sand Village into a sinner. How can I believe you? Yi Tsang said hoarsely, and after she finished speaking, she stared at Bai Ye with burning eyes. Because we are all the same kind of people. We were also abandoned by the high level, but I succeeded, so I can empathize with you. I need your strength, and you also need our strength. All betrayers must die, right? The same kind of people. Yi Tsang thought about it and suddenly realized that it seemed that it was indeed as Bai Ye said. The Uchiha clan was once feared by Konoha. On the way here, she had heard about the grievances between Uchiha and Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo. Although the two sides were somewhat different, they were probably betrayed by the village leaders, and Bai Ye did win. The empathy of both sides also made Yi Tsang less hostile to Bai Ye. All betrayers must die, you are right, but I will betray you at any time. I need you to help me avenge. I will also be the sharpest sword in your hand, but one day I will not guarantee that I will not betray you. We just take what we need. Yi Tsang understood that Bai Ye needed her to take action in the war with Sand Village, and her defection would definitely make the Sand Village army lose morale, but she also stated her position. She was just cooperating with Bai Ye and might betray at any time, just like what she said before, all betrayers must die. Maybe she will die, but she doesn't care, as long as she can get revenge before she dies. No problem, happy cooperation. Happy cooperation. Yi Tsang's eyes flashed with surprise. Although she didn't understand why the other party still chose to cooperate with her, she also stretched out her left hand and shook it lightly with Bai Ye. She must rely on the power of Konoha to take revenge now. Ding. Change Yi Tsang's fate and reward a chance to draw a lottery. Happy cooperation. Bai Ye's mouth curled up a smile. It was just as she thought. Only strong people can trigger it. Chapter 83 Indra Chakra, the beginning of the Valley of God. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 83, Indra Chakra, the Valley of Gods begins. After getting a lottery opportunity from Yi Tsung, this time was not in vain in Bai Ye's eyes. What are you doing here in Wuying? Yi Tsung regained some strength and stood up, wondering why a Hokage would come to Kirigakure's territory. I'm here to cooperate with Kirigakure. Cooperate? That there was a glimmer of gloom in Yi Tsung's eyes. She had just been used as a sacrificial tool, but Byakuya was cooperating with Kirigakure. The Kirikage people have long been dissatisfied with the 4th Mizukage's rule. I cooperated with them to overthrow the 4th Mizukage. This should be regarded as revenge for you, right? After all, the person who issued this order is the 4th Mizukage. Bai Ye shrugged and looked at Yi Tsung's puzzled eyes and explained, in fact, he was taking revenge for Yi Tsung. Are you a Hokage to help Kirigakure overthrow Kirigakure's regime, etc. She felt like her head was a little messed up. That's right, they came to me. I'll find a place for you. You wait for me there. I'll go back and find you later. With that said, Byakuya directly used the Flying Thunder God Mark to teleport to Konoha, arranged for Shisui to monitor Yi Tsung, and gave a few instructions. Although Yi Tsung also chose to cooperate with him, Byakuya was not stupid enough to directly lose his strength. Powerful ninjas don't care about Konoha. After doing all this, Byakuya returned to Kirigakure's side again. At this moment, Terumi, Mei and others have also finished their discussions and are ready to come to Bai to discuss the final plan. Knock knock. Enter. Bai Ye's voice came out from inside the house. Several people outside the house looked at each other, then opened the door and looked at Bai Ye, who was sitting casually, and said, "Sorry to disturb you, we have already discussed it." Then let's get straight to the point. Bai Ye nodded and motioned for them to come in and speak directly. Terumi Mei took the lead and sat in front of Byakuya and told them Kirigakure's conditions. We agree to your previous conditions, but we have another condition. We need you to help us during this rebellion, but you cannot be exposed. Uchiha also has the identity of Hokage. Although they needed Bai Ye to take action, they didn't want Bai Ye's identity to be exposed. Can. Bai Ye nodded and agreed. As long as the other party agreed, they would be fooled. One more question, I would like to ask, is it possible to control the Jinchuriki? After Terumi Mei finished speaking, she stared at Byakuya with burning eyes. Obviously, even if Byakuya was ruled out as a suspect, in Terumi Mei's view, the one who can control the Jinchuriki is still Uchiha. Yes, if the power of the Sharingan is very strong, it is possible to control it, but this is not something that ordinary people can do. Really? Terumi Mei's heart trembled. Can the Uchiha clan really control tailed beasts? Don't look at me like that. We Uchiha don't have anything to do to control the tailed beasts. Besides, this consumes pupil power all the time. If you don't do it well, you will go blind at any time. Not many people can bear this. Controlling the Jinchuriki requires a steady output of pupil power. After all, the tailed beast in the body needs to be suppressed. The average Uchiha will definitely go blind if controlled for a long time. After listening to Bai Ye's words, several people felt that it was reasonable, but this seemed to rule out Uchiha's suspicion. Our Mizukage was controlled by someone using illusions, so if we can do it without killing Mizukage, I hope to keep him. Terumi Mei directly told Byakuya the news that Yagura was being controlled. As long as Yagura could not be killed, she hoped that Yagura could survive. So he told Bai Ye about this without any reservation. Even the Genshin on the side was shocked by Terumi Mei's decisiveness. Okay, anyway, I will help you suppress it, but mainly on your own. No problem, let's take action tonight. In order to avoid long nights and many dreams, and also to prevent Byakuya from regretting missing such a fighting force like him, Terumi Mei and others have decided to take action early tonight. Faye, we just received the news that Terumi Mei is ready to take action. In the Kamui space, Zetsu told Obito the information he had just obtained. they used Zetsu's clones to hide some of Terumi Mei's side, and easily obtained the information. In fact, Obito and the others knew everything that Terumi Mei and others had been planning over the years, but they had never paid much attention to it. Now that they had had enough fun, Obito was ready to return the dilapidated Mist Ninja village to the Mist Ninja. Night, the Kirigakure village was quiet, and in the Mizuki's office, Yagura seemed to be waiting for someone to arrive. As the lights went out, countless ninjas surrounded Yagura, and then leanly took action, not caring about his identity as Mizuki. Terumi Mei, assassinating the Mizuki is a grave crime. Yagura blocked the attack from Terumi Mei and others, his tailed beast coat protecting his whole body. He raised his head and looked at the person who came and said calmly, "Yagura, what you have done over the years is almost over." That if Yagura was controlled, she wouldn't be able to say it out loud. She could already imagine how embarrassing it would be to find out after the shadow of her village was controlled for so many years. Superior. Suppress the rebels. Yagura had already summoned the Umbu to wait here, and the hands of both sides were fighting together. Terumi Mei and Yagura fought together. The two sides fought all the way from the Hokage's office to the outskirts of the village, and the focus of the battle was also shifting towards the surroundings. It seems that Yagura is no match for Mei Terumi. Zay turned his head and looked at Obito. Yagura had been abandoned by him over the years. How could a Mizuki who didn't practice deal with a genius ninja who was killing and practicing every day? I didn't have much expectation for that guy, I was just using him to create a gorgeous fireworks. Obito smiled coldly. His last dance was not to let Yagura kill Terumi Mei, he wanted to take revenge on Kirigakure. He had almost taken revenge over the years, and now there was still a culprit who had not been killed. The Blood family and various powerful ninjas in the past were all killed or forced away by Obito, and now there was only one left. After listening to Obito's words, Zetsu looked at him subconsciously, and secretly thought that Obito had a strong desire for revenge, but he was just a pawn. Until now, he didn't know who was behind all this, but it was okay. Zetsu didn't stop him, letting Obito, the little devil, vent his anger, which could better complete the Moon Eye plan. On the battlefield, Mei Terumi clearly felt that Yagura's fighting power did not seem to be very strong. Her previous worry seemed to be a little redundant in an instant. It seemed that he did not need that guy to take action, and she could also get rid of Yagura. Perhaps it was because of the illusion. Mei Terumi thought silently in her heart. The boiling escape had dissolved the tailed beast's outer garment, and at the same time, the magma on her own melting escape was constantly burning Yagura. It would not be long before he died. Just when Mei Terumi felt a little relaxed in her heart, the shout of the master also brought her back to reality. Run quickly. That guy is going to self-destruct. If the tailed beast self-destructs, everything around will be destroyed. At the same time, if Mei Terumi ran slower at this position, she would probably die. On Yagura, the tailed beast's chakra was extremely violent, which was obviously a prelude to the tailed beast's self-destruction. The tailed beast will not die, and will be resurrected in a few years, but they will not. Enjoy the gorgeous fireworks. Flying Thunder God. Obito's originally cold eyes changed instantly. When the hell is this? Who's Flying Thunder God? In his mind, Minato's appearance suddenly appeared, and Obito suddenly felt a little scared. He still had Minato's Flying Thunder God mark on him. People from Konoha are coming. The Flying Thunder God technique is a long-standing ninjutsu in Konoha. Zay was also a little curious. Who is it? The other party was wearing a black robe and couldn't see his face clearly. Please help me once, can you stop him from self-destructing? Just consider it as a favor to you, and I will agree to whatever you ask for in the future. Mei Terumi looked at the face in front of her through the hood, and felt that he seemed a little handsome, but she also knew that she didn't have time for a fangirl. If she couldn't stop the tailed beast from self-destructing, the only tailed beast in their hidden mist village would be gone, and there are still many things to ask Yagura for clarification. Remember that you owe me a big favor. Bai Ye looked at Mei Terumi deeply, then came directly in front of Yagura, and slapped Yagura's belly with his left hand. 8 trigram seal. The violent chakra on Yagura gradually became milder with the 8 trigram seal, and then began to shrink. While sealing, Obito's illusions on Yagura and the three-tail were also solved by Bai Ye at the same time. He solved my illusion, and he can use Flying Thunder God and seal. Obito seemed to see the shadow of Minato at this moment. It can't be him, right? These things seem to be what Minato Namikaze can do. Let's go. He has lost control of Yagura, and the matter in Kirigakure is over. There is no point in staying here. He looked deeply at the black-robed man on the field. He couldn't be sure if it was Minato now, although Minato Namikaze did use the Shiki Fujin, who can guarantee whether it was a smoke bomb released by Konoha. He didn't open the coffin for an autopsy, so how could he know if the person inside was Minato Namikaze? Yeah. For some reason, Zetsu felt a little relieved in his heart. Fortunately, the three-tailed beast was not dead, otherwise the plan might be delayed for several years. Besides, the sudden appearance of the black-robed man and the rising Bai Ye, he always felt that the situation seemed to be out of control. He must quickly implement the plan to avoid more trouble. Pain, I have invited the newest member, and I also got a piece of information. There is a person in Konoha who has mastered the Flying Thunder God and the sealing technique. In the Akatsuki organization, Obito considered it for a while, and finally decided to tell Pain the identity of the black-robed man he met before. After all, they still have to rely on Nagato to help them capture and seal the tailed beasts. Of course, it might be better to tell this information. Flying Thunder God technique? Didn't the fourth Hokage die? Pain was also familiar with the man known as the Golden Flash, but with his death, it seemed that no one would know the Flying Thunder God technique anymore, right? I just saw it with my own eyes, and the Three Tails and the Jinchuriki are still alive. If we want to start planning later, we can start early. Originally, he was going to wait for the Three Tails to revive after the self-destruction, but now he can't wait any longer. Well, let's take a look first, but Konoha really needs someone to investigate the intelligence. Konoha today is no longer the same as before. After Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, he still feels that it is necessary to investigate this new Konoha. Shall I go? In terms of intelligence, Zetsu has always been the one who went. When Pain said this, he assumed that he had gone. You go with Conan. You guys can just go together to recruit new members. You don't need to come back immediately after all the members are recruited. Go to Konoha and take a look. Conan. Zetsu was a little surprised that Nagato would let Conan go with him, and this was also proposed by Conan herself. Unlike Nagato, Conan has always wanted to change the bad conditions of the Rain Country. This time she went there to investigate the business of Uchiha. If possible, she hoped that she could copy it and make the conditions of the Rain Village better so that those children could live better. With the departure of Obito and others, Yagura's illusion was lifted, and the situation on the battlefield gradually became clear. Thank you. Send a representative to talk to us about the details of the follow-up. Since the matter is over, I will leave. Remember that you still owe me a big favor. Having said that, Bai Ye turned around and left. Kirigakure doesn't need him now. Looking at his back, Mei Terumi also felt a little emotional in her heart. What a charming little man. Ding. Change the fate of Mei Terumi and Sanbai, and reward a chance to draw a lottery. Just once, Mei Terumi was probably injured by the self-explosion in this battle, and Sanbai died, but the other party could be resurrected. In other words, each one counts half a time, and all together count as one time for yourself. Adding the one time of Yi Tsang before, Bai Ye also has 2 chances to draw a lottery. Draw a lottery. Ding. Successfully used the lottery opportunity. Congratulations on obtaining Indra Chakra, Impure World Reincarnation. These are 2 big ones. Indra Chakra is gathered. Now he only needs Ashura Chakra. As the most buggy ninjutsu in this anime, Impure World Reincarnation is simply invincible. Especially in other worlds, if you don't know how to cancel Impure World Reincarnation, then these people may be enslaved by themselves for the rest of their lives. Ding. If the strength of the Impure World Reincarnation exceeds that of the host by too much, the host will not be able to control the other party, such as Naruto World Bai Ye Impure World Reincarnation of the Great Demon of the Primordial World, and there is also a certain possibility that the other party may not be able to be summoned. Isn't this nonsense? Bai Ye certainly knows that if he can Impure World Reincarnation and control this person who is too much stronger than himself, then there is no need to practice, just wait for Bai Ye from a strong world to join the chat skirt, and then ask him to give you some corpses. He knows very well that impure world reincarnation has a backlash effect, even Madara can remove it, let alone those great demons in the primordial world. A world of cultivation may be able to remove it for you. Naruto Bai Ye, ahem, impure world reincarnation, what do you say? Pirate Bai Ye, what else can I say? Wait for God Valley Lousy to get Rock's body cells and directly reborn with impure world reincarnation. This is really coming at the right time. Impure world reincarnation is done. Zombie Bai Ye, what a pity, it's against the will of heaven, forget it. Monster Bai Ye, then I'll also get the body cells of those big monsters. They have also seen the introduction of impure world reincarnation. Although this ability has some limitations, it is also normal. If someone with impure world reincarnation is much more powerful than him, he will definitely not be able to control the other party. Daily Bai Ye, by the way, have you solved your problem? Hokage Bai Ye, it's all done. Next, I just have to wait for time. Everything is going according to my plan. In order to maximize the benefits, Bai Ye didn't want to directly sweep the Naruto world. He still has a lot of rewards to get. At least all the useful abilities and bloodstains will be drawn first. Hokage Bai Ye, anyway, I don't have any chance to draw lotteries recently. You can see for yourself. Pirate Bai Ye, don't worry, the God Valley incident is about to happen here. I will give you some good things then. The Rock's pirates are also getting restless recently. Chapter 84 Showdown with Rocks, will Old John follow me? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 84, Showdown with Rocks, Old John, do you want to follow me? Beehive Island. Bai Ye, come out quickly, I want to challenge you, Kaido roared, holding the mace tightly in his hand and constantly searching for Bai Ye's traces. Since losing to Bai Ye last time, Kaido has learned from his mistakes and finally felt that he was defeated by Bai Ye's meanness, so, for a long time, Kaido has been looking for Bai Ye to duel. Kaido is looking for Bai Ye to fight, not to prove how great he is. He wants to tell everyone that he must take back what he has lost with his own hands. But after being beaten by Bai Ye 7 times, and each time was more severe than the last, Kaido also fell into deep self-doubt, but he finally learned from his mistakes and followed the principle of fighting until he could not be killed. Every time he waited for his injuries to get better, he would look for Bai Ye to fight. The benefits came, and every time he found that he seemed to be able to hold on longer. This is a kind of progress. As a result, Kaido's visits to Bai Ye became more and more frequent, and sometimes he even came to fight Bai Ye before his injuries were healed. That young man is looking for you to fight again. Captain John took a sip of wine, and listened to Kaido's irritable voice looking for Bai Ye outside. He looked at Bai Ye and couldn't help but joked, he is really a young man. At first, he thought Kaido couldn't swallow this breath, so he chose to challenge Bai Ye, but later he saw that Kaido was not Bai Ye's opponent at all. As a result, he still tirelessly looked for Bai Ye to challenge. He didn't agree with this tendency. I don't want to go. There's no point in beating him. Bai Ye shook his head. At first, he felt very happy about beating Kaido, but over time, Bai Ye found that Kaido seemed to be addicted to being beaten. He was beaten every 2 or 3 days, which made him a little annoyed. I guess he will find me soon. What do you think of Rock's plan? Although Captain John was already a little drunk, he actually had some other ideas about Rock's plan. The first and most important thing for this trip to the Valley of the Gods is actually the 2 devil fruits. However, because Bai Ye is going to help Rox carry out a secret mission, Rox has already given the meatball fruit to Bai Ye. Then there is a mythical beast blue dragon form, which is also what many captains in the pirate group are eyeing. Even if he doesn't eat it, he can give it to others. Once this fruit is eaten, it will definitely create a super pirate, but Captain John is not interested in either of these 2 things. His favorite thing in his life is collecting treasures, and this game about hunting celestial dragons. In addition to devil fruits, the most prizes are treasures, so Captain John is on a different track from them. He wants to take the treasure, and Bai Ye has already eaten the fruit, and Rox has currently selected one. In Captain John's opinion, Bai Ye may not be interested in the remaining Azure Dragon fruit, so Captain John wants to win over Bai Ye to rob the treasure with him. Two people are always better than one person. At worst, everyone can divide the treasure equally, but before that, he still needs to confirm Bai Ye's thoughts. There is also such a reason for pulling Bai Ye to drink today. If it's just to take those things, there is probably no problem. In fact, in Rock's plan last time, he told them to take back the treasure that originally belonged to them, and by the way, loot the Valley of Gods. This is in line with the style of pirates. If Rox just did this, he would not die in the Valley of Gods. It's just because Rox made changes to the original plan. Everyone is gathered together for interests, and no one will really work for the Rox pirates. In the final analysis, everyone in the pirate world has their own dreams. Under this premise, if your dream cannot be recognized by others, and if you are not strong enough and have poor personality charm, then no one will be willing to follow you, especially for a group of big pirates like this. Their ambition is not to stay in the pirate group as a younger brother. But I think Rox's goal is not simple. John seemed to be drunker. Although he was greedy for money, he was not a fool and knew that Rox had a big goal. If Rox just wanted to take back the 2 fruits and some treasures, he would not have gathered so many people to go to the Valley of the Gods. You dare to go when you know it? Bai Ye looked at Captain John in surprise. Since he knew it, he still rushed over. Speaking of which, this guy is very timid and dared to participate in such things. The celestial dragons must have a lot of treasures. At worst, I will go back to the New World immediately after taking it. I don't believe they will come to the New World to chase this batch of treasures. People die for money and birds die for food. Captain John has always believed in the principle that he must get the financial report if he has it. Old John, have you ever thought about what you are going to do after this incident? Will you set up your own pirate group or continue to stay in the Rox Pirates? Bai Ye looked at John curiously. The Rox Pirates were not a pure pirate group. Everyone responded to Rock's call and joined the Rox Pirates together, but after this incident, Whitebeard, Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin clearly stated that they would leave the pirate group. They have their own dreams, and Rox did not refuse, but Wang Ji, John and Silver Axe have not expressed their opinions. As for Bai Ye's attitude, no one else has ever asked. Basically, many of them think that Bai Ye will eventually choose to stay in the Rox Pirates. Even Rox thinks so. Me? Captain John looked at the ceiling, and a trace of reminiscence flashed in his eyes. He seemed to live for treasure all his life. Even if he died, he would die on the road to treasure. I don't know, maybe I will continue to stay in the Rox Pirates, or maybe I will leave the Rox Pirates and set up a pirate group dedicated to finding treasures. Bai Ye, I tell you, when you see those treasures piled up together, and finally form a golden mountain higher than a hill, you will understand how cool this thing is. At the end, Captain John couldn't help bragging to Bai Ye. He collected his first pot of gold for the first time in his life. At that time, John looked at the golden treasure in front of him and secretly swore in his heart that he would make money. As for those bullshit romantic love stories, he didn't want to listen. He just wanted to become richer than everyone else. Bai Ye, you will leave the Rox Pirates, right? Captain John looked at Bai Ye with a hint of deep meaning, and then lowered his head to drink. Basically everyone thought that he was a vassal of Rox, and he would definitely stay in the Rox Pirates for the rest of his life, but only John thought that Bai Ye would never be willing to stay in the Rox Pirates. Looking at Bai Ye's somewhat surprised eyes, John smiled slightly. I'm not a fool. Besides, I've been with you for so long. I know you are a guy with your own ambitions. Do you remember the time when you climbed up to the Sky Island? At that time, I watched you slowly climb up, and I knew you would not be willing to be inferior to others. When you got the Thunder Fruit, I also knew that you succeeded. How could a man with the ambition to become a king, a guy who wants to pull down the gods, succumb to others? John murmured at the end, and fell on the table. The slight snoring sounded as if John was talking in his sleep just now. You are really surprising, John. Do you want to join my pirate group in the future? Silent answer. Bai Ye didn't care, patted John's shoulder, and then got up and walked outside. Looking at Bai Ye's back, John opened his eyes a little, muttered in his heart, and then closed his eyes and ignored Bai Ye. Opening the door, the dazzling light outside penetrated into the house through the crack of the door. Outside the door, Kaido was holding a mace and looking at Bai Ye excitedly. sure enough, it's here, Bai Ye, come and duel with me. He had searched around Beehive Island before, but couldn't find Bai Ye. Later, he thought that Bai Ye might be here with John. After all, Bai Ye and John have always had a good relationship. Don't come, Kaido. You are too weak now. Come and fight me after you improve your strength. Bai Ye shook his head. He didn't want to fight Kaido and waste time, but Kaido was a little unhappy. His strength was indeed not strong, but Bai Ye was obviously despising him. What does it mean to be too weak? Come and fight him after improving your strength. Kaido, I'll give you another chance. When you become stronger, challenge me again. If you lose next time, you must become my subordinate. How is that possible? I will never be anyone's subordinate. Kaido actually admires Rocks very much and sincerely joins the Rocks pirates, but he does not think of himself as Rocks' subordinate, and Bai Ye actually wants to make himself his subordinate. This is something he absolutely does not allow. Kaido, think about it carefully. I have something to do, so I'll leave first. Bai Ye actually thought about asking Kaido to join the pirate group, but Kaido himself is an unstable master. He has all the meanness and cunning of pirates, and sometimes he also has the loyalty of pirates, but Kaido himself is a person with strong personal ideas. If Kaido joins him, it is not a simple matter. In the later stage, he also has to consider whether he can suppress Kaido. In fact, the Rocks pirates do have a lot of talents. If Charlotte Linlin can change her mind, she can also win over the other party later. The two Four Emperors pirate groups, but it's a pity that Charlotte Linlin's thoughts have been completely led astray. Originally a person with stronger talent than Kaido, he gave birth to a child and was disabled. As for Whitebeard and Golden Lion, Bai Ye never considered them. They both have their own clear goals. Wang Ji also has his own ideas. To be honest, Silver Axe is not good enough for Bai Ye, and he doesn't have a deep friendship with the other party, so if I want to leave the Rocks pirates, the people I want to take away the most are John and Kaido. Looking at Bai Ye's back, Kaido's face is uncertain. He is unwilling to be someone else's younger brother for life. He has his own dreams. Also because of the previous experience of betrayal, he has no way to trust others. Who knows if he will be betrayed by the other party next time. Only if you have strength and control everything can you ensure that you will not be betrayed. Coming. Rocks crossed his legs, resting his feet on the table, looking at Bai Ye, smiling and pushing away the two women beside him, then sat up and looked at Bai Ye, saying, I'm going to take action. You should prepare to go to the Sabaody archipelago. Take this Den Mushi. I will notify you in advance if there is any action. The celestial dragons in the Valley of the Gods have also gone there. And according to intelligence, it will start in a few days. They, the Rocks pirates, will also go there in advance, and Bai Ye also needs to go to the Sabaody archipelago at this time. Are you so sure that there will be celestial dragons going that day? Bai Ye took the Den Mushi and looked at Rocks with some curiosity. In fact, the celestial dragons will not go to the Sabaody archipelago every day, especially in the current situation. For this, they took out a lot of treasures to auction. A trace of cruelty flashed across Rock's face. Don't celestial dragons like to collect all kinds of treasures? This time, he caught a mermaid and sent it to the auction house for auction. He also built momentum, and believed that the celestial dragons in the Holy Land would also know about this matter. Then I know. Give me a pointer. When the mission is completed, I will go to the Valley of the Gods. Bai Ye asked Rocks to give him a permanent pointer to the Valley of the Gods. Take it. Let's go there early. As he said that, Rocks threw a permanent pointer to Bai Ye, and then asked Bai Ye to go there early. By the way, have you thought about what to do after this matter is over? I should leave. Really don't consider it. A trace of regret flashed across Rock's face. He thought that Bai Ye, who was the first to come to his aid, would always follow him. Unexpectedly, Bai Ye still chose to leave, but Rocks didn't care. As long as his own pirate group was still there, it would be fine. Others joined him for the sake of profit, which he could understand. Captain Rocks, our dreams are different, so I think it might be better to leave. Rocks can be regarded as half of his teacher. Many things were taught by Rocks. Since Rocks asked, Bai Ye would only appear hypocritical if he was still hiding, he also confronted Rocks without hesitation. The dreams of both parties are incompatible. That's right, dreams. So after this incident, just pursue your dreams for me. Chapter 85, Advancement of Conqueror's Haki, a major event that shocked the world. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 85, Advancement of Conqueror's Haki, a world-shaking event. After leaving Rocks, Bai Ye felt much more relaxed. Perhaps he felt guilty towards Rocks at first. It can be said that Rocks taught him how to develop his Haki and some of his fruits. In his heart, he always had the intention to leave the Rocks pirates, but after the showdown with Rocks, Bai Ye felt as if he had thought too much, and his suppressed heart seemed to be relieved. At the same time, he was surprised to find that the Conqueror's Haki seemed to be stronger. Golden Lion, gather all the crew members, and then you take the ship into the air, we fly over. Ha ha ha, are we finally going to take action? After receiving Rock's order, Golden Lion immediately arranged for all the pirates to board the ship. This time, in order to avoid exposure, they chose to go through the sky, in the air. Even the spies and the Rocks pirates didn't know where they were going, but the entire Rocks pirates left Beehive Island, except for some small pirates. The entire Rocks pirates left Beehive Island. Such a big movement naturally attracted the attention of the Navy. What on earth is that bastard Rocks going to do? Steelbone Kong, who was the Navy admiral at the time, was looking at the information in his hand with a headache. Before Rocks left, when he had this intention, he already had the information. The water of the entire New World is now muddied by Rocks. The originally loose New World is now followed by countless pirates because of Rox's wave of his arm. The disappearance of Rocks today seems to indicate that something big is going to happen. Can I know the specific direction? Sengoku asked curiously. He thought that the most important thing to know now is the direction Rocks left. He's coming to the Grand Line. In the end, according to the information, he left the New World, but this 4 seas is still the Grand Line. How can Steelbone Kong know where it is exactly? What's more, the most important thing is that the most important facilities of the Navy and the world government are all in the 4 seas and the first half of the Grand Line. Judicial Island. Navy headquarters or Impel Down. He lowered his head, thinking about the purpose of Rox's trip. Could it be Marihoa? Zhangguo didn't think Rocks wanted to attack these 3 places. First of all, Rock summoned so many pirates to act together, just to attack these 3 places. In terms of interests, other pirates would not agree. First, Judicial Island is just a place for the world government to judge. Although it represents justice and the dignity of the world government, Rocks has no reason, and the other pirates in his pirate group don't need to destroy Judicial Island. It's a thankless job. Let's talk about Impel Down. There are many powerful pirates imprisoned in it, but Rocks has no one who needs to be rescued in Impel Down. Similarly, other pirates will not follow Rocks without any benefits. Similarly, unless the pirates are crazy, what are they attacking here at the Navy headquarters? Not only will they not get any benefits, but they may also die here. In Sengoku's opinion, unless there is a huge benefit, it is impossible for this group of pirates to gather so many, and Marihoa is the residence of the Celestial Dragons, and it seems that it is not impossible for it to be the target of Rock's attack. That group of guys are going to attack Marihoa. Garp kept talking about Senbei. He did not agree with Sengoku's speculation and even refuted it. Really? I don't believe it. Garp, you bastard, shut up. Sengoku punched Garp in the face. The old bastard ate his own Senbei again. I have never seen Garp buy it, but Garp has been eating it. When did the old bastard steal it? I have already locked it. It's hard to judge, but once Rocks and others choose to act, it may be because of some great benefits. Tsuru also tends to agree with Sengoku's point of view. The other places are unlikely to happen, but there is no guarantee. What Rocks is thinking, perhaps only Rocks and a few captains know at this time. This action was too sudden, and they were somewhat caught off guard. It's a pity that we can't infiltrate. Now they know nothing about what to do. I guess only those cadres know. Kongu Kong felt a little frustrated. He felt very passive in this situation where he couldn't find out what the other party wanted to do. bulu bulu bulu. Just when Kongu Kong was a little distressed, a special den den mushi rang on the table. Holy Land Mary Geos, the 5 elders were sitting in front of a table, quietly looking at the den den mushi and announced, one of the 3 admirals will go to Impel Down, one will go to Judicial Island, and the other will stay in the Navy headquarters. Satan Saint instructed Kongu Kong. On the arrangement they had discussed, even if their CP didn't get any intelligence, the 5 elders didn't expect the Navy to have any intelligence here. What about the Holy Land? Kongu Kong was actually quite entangled. The previous analysis seemed to be not to attack these 3 places at all. Don't they need an admiral to go there? No need, that I don't know if it's the pride of the celestial dragons, or because they think Rox doesn't dare to attack here at all, and no one has dared to come to the Holy Land to make trouble in the past 800 years, therefore, in Wulaoxing's view, the Navy generals only need to protect these 3 places. As for the Holy Land, with them here, as long as Rox and others dare to come, they will never come back. I see. Since there was no need to send people over to the Holy Land, Cyborg Kong was naturally relieved. Garp, where are you going? Don't forget it's my vacation time now. That he had been chasing Roger and others some time ago, so his warship also needed to be repaired. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Garp decided to take a break. Hello. Get this bastard back here. Just as Cyborg Kong finished speaking, he heard a bang, and Garp immediately closed the door, with no intention of listening to his words. This old bastard. Now that the Navy is in desperate need of manpower, it just ran away like this. What does that bastard Lox want? Saint Wuchili scratched his forehead in distress and looked at the world map. The destination of Rock's action could not be seen at all on it. Isn't it possible that he summoned so many pirates just to plunder? He probably won't come to the Holy Land, right? Isn't that guy a fool? Does he really dare to come to the Holy Land to die? Saint Nashiro wiped the hilt of the sword in his hand, and his glasses shone with a hint of light. In his heart, he was actually looking forward to the arrival of Rox and others, so that he could eliminate the Rox pirates in one fell swoop, but before that, the Tianlong people still have to hide, intercept the opponent before the Holy Land, prevent the Holy Land from being destroyed, and then kill Rox and others. But there's no suitable place on the entire map. If it were other pirates, there would be nothing to worry about, but this is Rox, the Rox pirates. That place is not exposed, right? Saint Satan suddenly thought of a place and fixed his gaze on a small island in the West Sea. That's where the Tianlong people have always enjoyed hunting games. This time, not only the people from the Knights of God passed by, but also many Tianlong people who had no strength. It's really not good news if Rock's destination is over there. There is a considerable distance between the Navy headquarters and the Holy Land, and it is not an easy task to rush to help there. It's impossible. It hasn't been discovered there for hundreds of years. Every time the guys on that island are silenced by us, the island in the Valley of the Gods doesn't even appear on the map. How could it be possible that Rox and the like were killed? Does anyone know? Saint Peter immediately interrupted Saint Satan. This was simply impossible. After all, that location was top secret. Only the top brass within the world government and the Navy knew about it. No one else knew about it at all, not to mention the Rox pirates, which is usually just a small island, and there are actually CP0 surveillance around it, just to prevent leaks here. In addition, since the Valley of Gods is located in the West Sea, the pirates there are not strong. Once a pirate approaches, CP0 will kill him without hesitation. Naturally, it cannot be known to others. There's nowhere to go, Saint Satan said lightly. If it weren't for the Valley of Gods, there would be no place worth visiting for Rox. It can't really be the Holy Land Marie Jo, right? Anyway, let's all stay here and take a look. If Rox and others really come to the Holy Land, we will deal with this group of pirates then. After a few people put it all together, they finally decided. Anyway, there are navies in other places, and they are watching over the Holy Land. Basically, there will be no accidents. Secrets like the Valley of the Gods will not be known to pirates, so it depends on luck. C is preparing to take action. The Rox pirates only have this chance. All the members are very ambitious, and it is impossible to stay in the same pirate group forever. When they fail this time, the Rock's pirates will fall apart. No matter what happens next, Rocks must die. What about the rest? You don't need to deliberately kill them, just let them run away if they can, and let them go to the new world to eat dogs. That what they want is balance. The world government has seen too many geniuses in the past 800 years, ultimately. None have shaken the reign of the world government, and everything happening now is all done deliberately by them. What they want is an unpeaceful new world, where big pirates will fight, not a new world ruled by rocks. When the new world is unified, the spearhead will be aimed at them. There are no contradictions, they can create contradictions, otherwise they are contradictions, and this world cannot be peaceful. If there is peace, what else will their world government do? If everything was peaceful, there would be no pirates. If there were no pirates, these countries would not need the protection of the navy, nor would they join the world government as a franchise country. When all countries have no conflicts, and there is no more gold in the sky, the spearhead will be aimed at them. So the world needs pirates, but it doesn't need people who can integrate most pirates. The world needs chaos. Chaos is in their interests. Rocks doesn't have anything to worry about. The most important thing is to find that fruit. If we find that fruit, then the whole world can go on in whatever way they want, as long as we keep a close eye on the 4 seas and the first half of the Grand Route. Saint Satan said calmly that no matter how much trouble the pirates made, they didn't care, but there was one thing that the world government was afraid of. For the past 800 years, they have been looking for it, but it seems to be hiding and they cannot find it at all. That fruit has a mind of its own, or maybe it's like this for animals. Nika, it's been 800 years and it still hasn't been found. It's really not reassuring, but since Nika lost once 800 years ago, even if they come back again, they can still defeat Nika again. Roger, what do you say when Rocks leaves Beehive Island? Roger pirates. Rayleigh's eyes gleamed as he recounted the piece of information he had just obtained about Rocks. That guy beat me very badly last time. Roger touched his chest, where there was still a dull pain. The last time he sailed to the New World, he met Rocks during this period. After rejecting Rocks' invitation, the two sides fought fiercely. If Garp hadn't caught up behind him, and Rocks thought he was a talent, decided to give myself some more time to think. That time Roger almost died in the New World. Because of this incident, Roger realized his own lack of strength and decided to temporarily leave the New World and sail around the world. What are those guys going to do? Jabba thought. The purpose of Rocks leaving was not that simple at all. Didn't we receive a secret radio wave before? Roger's mouth curled up, thinking of a strange radio wave they had received before. From the intelligence, they learned that there was an island called the Valley of the Gods in the West Sea, and that was actually where the celestial dragons hunted. Similarly, this time there is a devil fruit as a treasure. In addition, I learned some time ago that the Rocks pirates' treasure was taken away by those guys from the world government. Combining the information I got before, it is estimated that that guy is going to God Valley, right? It doesn't seem surprising if it's those guys. Rayleigh adjusted the frame of the mirror. He also agreed with Roger's statement. Now combined with the disappearance of the Rocks pirates, it is estimated that the previous information on the Valley of Gods was correct. How about you, are you interested in going there together? As Roger said, he suddenly thought of a very interesting thing, and at the same time he knew that he had the opportunity to solve this big mountain that was weighing on his heart. If he doesn't take advantage of this opportunity to kill Rocks, he will never have another chance in the future. So, this time he wants to go to the Valley of Gods. What a nonsense, Captain. Go. I didn't get enough of fighting that bastard Golden Lion last time. That I definitely have to go. Not only was Roger's order as the captain, but the two of them also wanted to continue to compete with the Rocks pirates. They lost miserably last time. And they also knew very well what Roger's purpose was. If Rocks is not resolved, the conflict between the two sides will remain here, and sooner or later they will become enemies of Rocks. Although it feels a bit like adding insult to injury, isn't this the style of pirates? They never said how tall they were. Chapter 86. The magnetic fruit is obtained, and the electromagnetic force is stronger than you can im. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 86. The magnetic fruit is in hand, and the electromagnetic force is beyond imagination. Sabaody Archipelago. Because the news of the auction of the mermaid beauty was widely publicized by the auction house, many pirates and nobles who heard the news also made this place a little lively. The slave business in the Sabaody Archipelago is not as developed as it will be later, and it is also difficult to catch a mermaid now. After all, the relationship between Fishman Island and humans is very tense. The reason why it has developed so much in the future is nothing more than Doflamingo integrating the underground world, and because of his identity as a celestial dragon, he is also the middleman between Kaido and the world government. Therefore, after becoming a Shichibukai, all businesses have been legalized. In the end, mermaids are sent to the Sabaody Archipelago for auction from time to time, not only mermaids, but also various races, but mermaids are still a bit rare now. Inside the auction house, the person in charge was nervously looking at the CP0 in front of him. They were doing an ignominious business. Although most of the time they were protected by the world government, the appearance of CP0 still made him feel a little scared. The safety of the auction house will be handed over to us. We will arrange the best position for the celestial dragons, and the auction process will proceed as usual. Yes, we all know the rules. That the person in charge flashed a flattering smile on his face, rubbing his hands, looking like a little boy who obeys orders anytime and anywhere. I didn't expect that this auction would attract the celestial dragons. Then he naturally didn't need to be responsible for the safety issue. Without paying attention to whether he agreed or not, several CP0 looked at each other, then turned around and left, obviously not taking this little character seriously. The Sabaody Archipelago is really chaotic now. Bai Ye looked around curiously. The current Sabaody already has some of the appearance in the original book. Basically, it is just waiting for perfection in the later stage to be exactly the same as the Sabaody shown in the original work. However, in the Rocks era, it seems to be more chaotic than the Great Pirate era. Only when the Navy headquarters moves away in the later stage, the Sabaody Archipelago will surpass the current chaos. According to the information provided by Rocks, Bai Ye came to the population auction of number 1. Many nobles took out their passes and entered the venue with great interest. Following the flow of people into the venue, the auction was only a few minutes away from opening. The seats around were filled one by one, and only the front row was always empty. Then, the crowd gathered, and a human-shaped passage was given up. A middle-aged man with a fish tank was sitting on a man with a fierce look, holding 3 chains in his hands, with a long-legged man and 2 tall and beautiful women on each chain. Celestial dragon. What a weird outfit. Holding a fish tank to feed his head. The reason why the celestial dragons don't look very smart is probably related to soaking in water every day. Under the hood, Bai Ye was considering whether to start now. After thinking about it, Bai Ye decided to wait and see. Rocks and others had not landed in the Valley of Gods yet. He would take a look at what treasures were there at the auction. Let them start. That the celestial dragon muttered a few words to CP0 on the side. The host, who was supposed to appear in a few minutes, also came on stage with various auction items with a smile. The collection also included a good knife and some pirate slaves, which were auctioned one by one. Next, the host took down the 2 items at the boss's signal. Everyone, this will be the finale of our auction. The mermaid from Fishman Island and a magnetic fruit that has been tested and confirmed to be a parahuman devil fruit. These 2 items need to be purchased together. The starting price is 500 million, that the auction house originally wanted to sell the 2 items separately. After all, both of them are easy to sell, but then I thought, since the celestial dragons are here, it's better to sell them in a bundle. Selling these 2 items together can even sell for a higher price. After hearing this, the pirates who had not eaten the devil fruit all turned their eyes to the magnetic fruit, a superhuman devil fruit, and a strong magnetic fruit. The nobles turned their eyes to the mermaid. Beautiful. It was so beautiful. They had never seen such a beautiful woman. Even the celestial dragon who came here had seen mermaids before, and even had one at home, but he felt that compared with the mermaid in front of him, his mermaid, and even the mermaids collected by other families, were incomparable. This was definitely the most beautiful mermaid in the world. He wanted to take it down and make this mermaid his 48th wife. Many pirates sighed in their hearts at this time. It was too expensive. If it was a fruit, they could still compete, but the starting price of this bundled sale was 500 million. Many pirates here did not have a bounty of 500 million. Many nobles also had the same idea. Some people had enough money, but seeing the celestial dragons like this, no one dared to challenge them. 500 million, I want them all. An evil flashed in the eyes of the Tianlong man, and he couldn't wait to take the mermaid back. After he spoke, many people around him fell silent. No one wanted to get into trouble. Very well, catch me that mermaid and that fruit. When I get back, I will feed it to that slave. I don't believe I will lose next time. The celestial dragon has also thought about it. The mermaid will be regarded as his wife, and the devil fruit will be eaten by the slave. He was unhappy for a long time when he lost to Roswaiter Saint last time. Although he killed the failed slave, he was still upset. This time he got the magnetic fruit, and he would let a slave eat it when he got back, and then challenge Saint Roswaiter. After hearing the order from the celestial dragon, CP0 was also ready to take direct action. Looking at the approaching CP0, and at the same time seeing the fat celestial dragon, the mermaid had tears hanging from the corners of her eyes, secretly wondering who could save her. She didn't want to be captured by the Tianlong people. She was living a good life on Fishman Island, but because she was a little playful, she was caught by a pirate and then sent here for auction. She now regrets why she left Fishman Island out of fun and curiosity. 600 million, Bai Ye calmly raised the sign in his hand. Originally, he didn't want to auction it. After all, he only came here to catch the Tianlong people. However, this thing actually has a magnetic fruit, so we have to take action. I'm still thinking about how to make use of Blackbeard's physique. There are still 2 fruits left. Isn't this Superman type coming? The thunder fruit is paired with the magnetic fruit. The 2 fruits that are related to each other seem to be much better than the so-called surgery fruit and other fruits. Before getting Blackbeard's physique, Bai Ye was pursuing powerful fruit abilities, but now Bai Ye wants something that can cooperate with each other, such as thunder and magnetic. It is best to have one and these 2 phantom beasts in the future. A fruit whose abilities can be used complementarily. Listening to Bai Ye's quotation, the host was stunned. Others, including the Tianlong people, also turned to look at Bai Ye. Obviously, they did not expect that after the Tianlong people's quotation, there would still be people who dared to compete. The mermaid in the fish tank couldn't help but have a hint of surprise on her face at this moment, and at the same time, there was also a hint of hope in her heart. Although she didn't know what the man in front of her was like, at least he would be better than the celestial dragon, right? Even on Fishman Island, they knew the cruelty of the celestial dragons. They also knew that many mermaids were sold to the celestial dragons after being captured, which gave the mermaids an instinctive fear of the celestial dragons. 7 billion, that the Tianlong people felt a little angry at first, but suddenly they felt it was quite fun. There are still people who dare to compete with me for financial resources. 800 million. 9 billion, that the 2 sides kept bidding, with prices rising from 100 million to 100 million belly, until it reached 2.5 billion, everyone present was surprised. They knew that the Tianlong people were rich, but what was the background of this man in black robe? Today's 2.5 billion is much more powerful than the purchasing power of the Age of Discovery. Do you want Lord Jago Lucia Yagosage to take action? CP0 approached Tianlongren and asked softly. It seemed that the other party was looking for trouble. Need not. The Tianlong man suddenly thought of a very fun game. A cruel smile flashed at the corner of his mouth, and then he stopped bidding. He wanted to see how Bai Ye was going to give him. If he had 2.5 billion, then the 2.5 billion would be his, and the rest would also be his. This man in black robe, he wanted the other person to become his slave. If not, then the other party will be arrested. After hearing Yagasheng's words, CP0 didn't ask any more questions, so he only heard 3 hammers falling from the auction house. Finally, the magnetic fruit and the mermaid fell into Bai Ye's hands. Please pay 2.5 billion belly on the spot and take this away. After all, it is 2.5 billion, which is different from the backstage transactions. The host of the auction reminded Bai Ye, who had slowly walked onto the stage, if the other party can't come up with the money, then the auction will be rejected. After so much publicity for so long, their losses are not small. Bai Ye ignored the other party's resistance and stretched out his hand to take the magnetic fruit. He also said, I don't want to give you the money, but I want the goods. Please help me find a way. Money? He is a pirate. No money. Do it. A trace of gloom flashed in the host's eyes. There are still people who dare to come here to cause trouble. They are not soft persimmons in holding an auction. If they don't have some strength, who dares to hold it? Catch this guy to me, I will make him my slave, along with the mermaid and devil fruit. Yagashing yelled, this fruit can't be eaten by that bastard Bai Ye. Upon hearing Yagashing's order, the CP0s and the people from the auction house immediately surrounded him, and the wind of fists instantly blew Bai Ye's hood off, revealing his face hidden under the hood. Roll. Overlord color and domineering. CP0 felt a tremor in his soul. That kind of powerful domineering aura was not only for rookies. Who was he? The Overlord's domineering aura was deliberately targeted at a few people, especially the look in his eyes, which even made CP0, who had experienced mountains of swords and seas of fire, a little scared. The next second, before anyone could recover, Bai Ye kicked everyone around him away in an instant. Bang! A CP0 flew upside down, shattering the fish tank, and then flew upside down out of the auction house. This is my way. By the way, can I trouble you with something? Bai Ye looked at the host with a smile, only to see that the other party opened his mouth and looked at him in shock, and then nodded numbly. That's good, you are a good kid. Bai Ye said, then pointed to the Den Mushi next to him and said, now you call the Navy headquarters and say that the celestial dragons have been hijacked by me, and ask the Navy to come immediately. The celestial dragons suddenly realized something at this moment. Damn, they are coming for him. He pulled out his pistol and was about to shoot at Bai Ye, but the next second Bai Ye directly locked his throat. Don't move, otherwise I will want to kill you. Is this guy a devil? The people present looked at this scene at this moment, their hearts pounding. They actually dared to attack the celestial dragons, and how did you say such a sentence with a smile? Let go of Lord Yago. CP0 and others surrounded Bai Ye like a rat-like fear, and they didn't dare to do anything at this moment. Ada D. Byakuya, captain of the 4th Division of the Rocks Pirates, do you know what the consequences of attacking the celestial dragons are? Do you want to go against the world government? CP0 obviously recognized the person. After hearing what CP0 said, the pirates present were also extremely shocked. It turned out to be the captain of the 4th Division of the Rocks Pirates. It seemed that everything was explained. 3 seconds, if I can't contact the Navy headquarters, I will really kill him. As he said, Byakuya's hand increased a little, and the face of Yago Shing in his hand instantly turned red, but there was also a little room for speech. Seeing a group of CPs still hesitating here, he couldn't help but curse directly, you bunch of trash, quickly let the Navy headquarters let the Admiral come over. If this goes on, he will really die in the hands of this bastard. Wait. He must kill this bastard. No. He wants to make this guy his slave and torture him in every way. Mashimoshi, this is Cyborg. Marshal Cyborg immediately asks the Admiral to lead the Demon Slayer order to Sabaody. The captain of the Rocks Pirates 4th Division, Ada D. Byakuya, has kidnapped Yagosei. CP0 ordered unceremoniously, and when Cyborg Sora heard the situation over there, he instantly felt a little dizzy. The Rocks Pirates disappeared for so long, and they actually went to the Sabaody archipelago to capture the celestial dragons. What on earth are these crazy people trying to do? Are all the Rocks Pirates there? No, there's only Byakuya. CP0 glanced at Byakuya and then said lightly. Marshal Kong, this is our first meeting. Although the occasion is not right, if you don't send someone to rescue the celestial dragons, I can't guarantee that I will be the first pirate to kill the celestial dragons. Bai Ye's voice came into Kong's ears from the Den Mushi, and after hearing Bai Ye's threat, Kong gritted his teeth and shouted with veins on his face, "Bai Ye, what do you rocks pirates want to do?" He didn't understand why a pirate would provoke the celestial dragons. Is the rocks pirates crazy? But he couldn't think too much, and while he was talking, he also asked someone to notify the admiral to go to Shampoo Land quickly. Chapter 87 Rage. Kill the celestial dragons. How about a game of hunting celestial dragons in the Virginia? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 87 Rage. Kill the celestial dragon. How about a game of hunting celestial dragons in the Valley of Gods? Bai, let's Yago Shingo, I can pretend that this didn't happen. On the other end of the phone, Cyborg Kong was still thinking about mediating with Bai Ye. Are you an idiot? You said it didn't happen as if it didn't happen. Release me immediately and become my slave, otherwise I will definitely kill you, Saint Yago roared angrily. For him, he had never suffered such humiliation since he was a child, but today, he was choked and threatened, and Cyborg was treated as if nothing had happened. How could he allow it? It seems that people don't appreciate Marshal Kong's idea at all. Listening to Bai Ye's joking words, Cyborg Kong felt his head hurt. Is there something wrong with you Tianlong people? Or is the brain underdeveloped? Don't you know what settling accounts means? It's not him who is being strangled by the neck. He can still be so arrogant when his neck is strangled. If it weren't for the identity of Tianlong here, Cyborg Kong doesn't know how many times the other party has died. On the other end of the phone, a female voice sounded, "Byakuya, is this why your rocks pirates disappeared?" Crane knew this was an opportunity. Who knows? Bai Ye directly threw Tianlong on the ground and rubbed his arms. He felt a little uncomfortable carrying this person all the time. CP0 looked at each other and was about to save Yagasheng, but the next second he was hit by a bolt of lightning. Go back. If you get any closer, I can't guarantee what will happen next. As he said this, Bai Ye stepped directly on the Tianlong's fish tank. With a click, the fish tank shattered instantly, and Bai Ye stepped on the Tianlong's fish tank. On his head, he muttered, "This will be much better. I'm going to kill you, you bastard." Being trampled under his feet, Yago Shing wanted to kill Bai Ye right now. "You bastards are just looking at me, hurry up and save me, I will kill you all, and I will kill everyone present." At this moment, he seemed to have gone crazy. His shame today was not allowed to be seen by everyone. He wanted everyone present to die. "Bai Ye, you should be a smart man. Do you know the consequences of killing a celestial dragon, right?" He said calmly that although she did not want to get involved in the affairs of the celestial dragons, as a navy, she had to do it. If a celestial dragon died in the hands of pirates, then their navy would also be responsible, and Bai Ye will also encounter endless pursuit. Are you threatening me? No, I just think you are a smart person and should be able to make smart choices. He paused for a moment, and then said calmly, she knew very well that she had said so, and she believed Bai Ye should. However, before she could think of anything, a click in her ears and the roars of the CP0s brought her back to reality in an instant. Saint Yago! How dare you kill a celestial dragon? It's the other way around. CP0 knew that if the Tianlong people they protected died, they would also die in the future. At this moment, they wanted to kill Bai Ye immediately. The nobles and pirates who were watching the show all panicked and began to flee. Ruin. The person in charge of the auction looked at the scene in front of him with distracted eyes. He took out his pistol and prepared to commit suicide. He knew very well that if a Tianlong died here, he would definitely not have no responsibility at all, whether it was being captured by the celestial dragons and made into slaves, or being killed anyway, both are bad endings. The first one will even have his own dignity destroyed. Instead of becoming a slave or being tortured and killed later, he might as well commit suicide early. Sorry, I don't seem to be a smart person. With that said, Bai Ye cut off the phone and looked at the CP0s around him and said, "Come on, you only have one chance." He killed the celestial dragon. He looked at the phone bug who had lost the signal in disbelief. Originally, She had always thought that she had stabilized Bai Ye and the situation was under her control, but Bai Ye changed hands and killed the Tianlong people. It was somewhat unexpected for He. Is that guy as brainless as Garp? Warring States was also confused at this time. It seemed that Bai Ye really didn't understand this operation. Are you really going to kill me, brother? You guys should go together too. Bai Ye must be caught. Can you catch him? That guy is a user with the Thunder Fruit ability. A wry smile flashed across Crane's face, wanting to catch the opponent, unless you have the ability to use the Shining Fruit, right? Moreover, the opponent can turn. Let's go first. Cyborg Kong rubbed his forehead in distress. Although he knew it might be useless, it was better than waiting here forever, right? He couldn't deny it. They had never heard of the Tianlong people being killed. Vulnerable. Throwing the last CP0's body to the ground, Bai Ye's goal was achieved, although he only wanted to kidnap him at first. He later thought that since he wanted to repay Rox a favor, he would complete the task by completely killing a celestial dragon and attracting all the navy here. At the same time, the arrogant attitude of Tianlongren just now, if he didn't take action, it felt like his overlord's domineering energy would be weakened a bit because of it. Well, can I go on an adventure with you? Behind her, the mermaid was looking at Bai Ye bravely, her eyes unconcealed, and she felt as if the stories she had heard when she was a child were coming true at this moment. She also went to sea because of this story. There really will be knights to rescue mermaids in distress. Follow me. I can help with navigation, and I can also help with fighting. The mermaid had stars in her eyes. She had learned about navigation and was from the mermaid clan, so she had some experience in this area. Look again, I will throw you into the sea and you can go back by yourself. If you can show me your value, I will take you on the boat. Byakuya grabbed the mermaid by the shoulders, and then used her divine power to transfer her to the shore of island number 1 in the Shamboard Islands and throw her into the sea. Sir, I will definitely show my abilities. Please remember my name is Christy Lilia. In her ears, Lilia's voice was still lingering in Bai Ye's ears. She had no intention of pestering Bai Ye. She also knew very well that she was Bai Ye's burden at this time, and she was indeed not enough to be Bai Ye's subordinate. Bai Ye just showed with the strength, she can't do it. Oh, mermaid, it's a pity that she will become the next Granny Kokoro, that how beautiful you are when you are young, how miserable you will be when you get older. Although in Bai Ye's opinion, Lilia has a face that is not inferior to Shirahoshi's, and even has a different style from Robin's face and Nami's face, she is looking for a crew member, not a bed attendant. The 3 great generals of this era, Bai Ye looked into the distance. The Navy headquarters was very close to this side. In addition, due to the reason that they were rushing towards this side at full speed, the Shampoo Islands were soon surrounded by the Navy. In the auction house, the place was already empty at this time, leaving only corpses on the ground. The Navy first collected the bodies of the Tianlong people, while he, Sengoku and a curly-haired man were looking around. It looks like he's already gone. That guy has the Thunder Fruit ability, so it's quite difficult to catch him alone. The Rocks pirates didn't come. They asked Byakuya to come here to kill a celestial dragon. What are they doing behind the scenes? He guessed the purpose of the Rocks pirates. Byakuya appeared here, but the Rocks pirates were not there. With the disappearance of the Rocks pirates, this matter became more complicated and confusing. Are they trying to lure the tiger away from the mountain? Warring States analyzed. Only this can explain why Byakuya did not act with the Rocks pirates. Then, after attracting them here, Byakuya used the power of the Thunder Fruit to leave and join the Rocks pirates. What is their purpose? Bulu bulu bulu. Just when he was about to guess what Bai Ye's purpose was, the phone bug on the curly-haired man rang. The Valley of the Gods. Those bastards Rocks went to the Valley of the Gods. And the Roger pirates also went there. Cyborg Kong said eagerly. He didn't know how Rocks and others learned about the Valley of Gods. But at this time, Cyborg couldn't help but think about other things. However, Cyborg Kong also understood Bai Ye's action, most likely because he wanted to focus their attention here, and there were many celestial dragons on the Valley of Gods. I can't go, I have to find the navy nearby. I remember that Garp went to this area for vacation before, right? Warring States thought that the place where Garp had been vacationing seemed to be quite close to the Valley of the Gods. I think it's best to let Garp go there as soon as possible. Since Bai Ye dares to kill the celestial dragons in the Valley of Gods may be in danger, that he felt that since Bai Ye was not afraid, then others might dare to kill the Tianlong people, not to mention that even if others did not dare, Bai Ye would. I know, you guys should rush over to help, although the distance is already very far, it may even be over there, but Cyborg Kong still decided to let this group of people go there. After saying that, he hung up the phone and dialed Garp's phone number directly. Garp, go to the Valley of the Gods, the Rock's pirates have passed by. I'm not going. Who told those bastards to take away the pirates' treasure by themselves? They even regarded it as a prize. Now they're being targeted by that guy Rocks, right? As he spoke, Garp had a hint of gloating, that was a treasure on the pirate island. It was taken away by the celestial dragons and given as a prize. How could you let Rock swallow this? He's not going anyway, he's still on vacation. Roger went too. Cyborg Kong was a little distressed, but he still moved Roger out. He didn't believe that if Roger went, Garp would not go. After learning that Roger was gone, Garp instantly rolled up his sleeves and roared, "Did that bastard Roger go too? It seems that I have to go to the Valley of the Gods. The Valley of the Gods is actually the purpose. I'll go." Saint Satan said calmly. He didn't expect the guys from the Rock's pirates to actually prepare to attack the Valley of Gods. And that kid must be killed. The thunder fruit is too troublesome, Ma Xing said lightly. The fact that Bai Ye killed the celestial dragons has not yet fermented. Once many people know about it, it will be a big blow to the dignity of the celestial dragons. If Bai Ye is killed, the impact of this matter can be minimized. Moreover, Bai Ye's thunder fruit is too troublesome, and at the same time, there is his lawless behavior. A thunder fruit is combined with the idea that he may kill celestial dragons at any time and anywhere. If Bai Ye is not killed, won't other celestial dragons be in danger? Okay, my ability just restrains him. Satan nodded. Although the ability of the thunder fruit is very strong, it is also restrained by himself. He has the ability to make people unable to move. As long as Bai Ye's position is caught, he will not be able to escape. Then go over. Satan opened the magic circle and then teleported to the location of God Valley. God Valley, at this moment, also received the news that the Rock's pirates were going to attack. At this moment, the Knights of God on the island had a completely different attitude from ordinary celestial dragons. However, the hunting game is still going on, and no one is willing to leave like this, and the Rock's pirates. A flash of lightning fell on the deck, and after seeing Bai Ye coming back, Rock smiled strangely and said, "You're back so soon." "Nothing fun, I killed that celestial dragon, most of the Navy's attention is over there, but I guess there will be Navy coming over by then." Bai Ye shrugged. And the killing of the celestial dragon was like talking about killing a chick, and everyone became interested instantly after hearing Bai Ye's words. He actually killed a celestial dragon. You really killed a celestial dragon? Don't brag. I guess there will be a follow-up report. Golden Lion, you don't dare to kill a celestial dragon, do you? Who do you think I am? Didn't I just kill a celestial dragon? People who don't know would think you stabbed the Holy Land. Golden Lion bit his cigar tightly and got angry instantly. Didn't this guy just kill a celestial dragon? I heard that a hunting game for celestial dragons is being held on the island. Bai Ye grinned, and then as if he had thought of something, he turned his head to look at several captains and Rocks and said, "How about it? How about we also have a hunting game to see who kills more celestial dragons, using the live broadcast of Den Den Mushi, and the winner can get a big favor from the other party." Since celestial dragons can hold hunting games on the island, why don't they also play a death game with celestial dragons? His words instantly made Rock's eyes light up and become interested. He originally wanted to kill the celestial dragons on the island, and this suggestion was very good. But the others hesitated. Chapter 88. Let the dragons live on in ugliness, constantly running away just to stay alive. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 88, Tianlong people, let's live ugly, keep escaping and escaping just to live. Compared to Bai Ye and Rocks, Whitebeard and others did not want to completely offend the celestial dragons. Killing the celestial dragons was tantamount to declaring war with the world government, and they would be endlessly hunted by the world government in the future, so when Bai Ye raised the matter, they did not immediately agree. Let's call this the game of the brave. Bai Ye looked at a few people with a smile. He actually saw that a few people didn't want to participate, otherwise they wouldn't have been so serious about paddling in the Valley of the Gods. After Big Mom and Kaido snatched the fruit, they were about to run away. Whitebeard fought with Saint Garen, which was considered a contribution. As for the Golden Lion and others, they didn't know it, but they were besieged by Garp and Roger and Rocks. These guys are most likely to work hard but not do their best, so it's not easy to get them to participate in this game. Bai Ye, you are such a thief. Golden Lion took a bite of his cigar, then blew out a smoke ring, looked at Bai Ye and said lightly, he just said that he killed a celestial dragon in the Shampoo Islands. Is he planning to drag them into the water? It is not mandatory to participate in this matter, not to mention that the Tianlong people may have retreated now. In short, you can choose not to kill if you participate. Anyway, it is just a favor. This favor can ask the other party to help complete a thing, but what is not allowed is beyond the acceptable range of the other party. This so-called acceptable range is wide. Everyone originally didn't want to participate, but they suddenly felt like they could give it a try. After all, even if you lose and are asked to do something later, if it suits you, then help the other person once. If it doesn't suit you, you can use this reason to excuse it. Overall, it doesn't seem to be too much of a loss, and you can mainly get other people to do it. Favor. Of course I am the first to support you. Rocks was the first to express his willingness to join this plan after Bai Ye finished speaking. As long as you don't want my treasure, I can still help you with anything. It's a game of the brave. I, John, am not a coward. Captain John will naturally not fall behind. Although he knows that he will lose, after all, his bottom line is the treasure. As long as he does not take his treasure, everything is easy to talk about, so he will support Bai Ye. I will also participate. Kaido gritted his teeth and then decided to participate. He wants to prove that he is better than Byakuya. Although he knows that he will be in trouble once he gets involved with the Tianlong people, the world government is still unwilling to let him go even now. His identity as a ghost is destined to be hunted by the world government for the rest of his life. Once if there is a chance, the opponent will catch him without hesitation, so whether he kills the celestial dragon or not actually doesn't make much difference to Kaido. At worst, he will just hide in the new world. Gula la 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 la, it seems like it won't work if you don't participate, since it's a dispensable favor, it doesn't seem that hard to accept. I'll join in too. Charlotte Lingling's eyes lit up, and she agreed to join regardless of Longbread's crazy hints. If you win, let everyone present have a child with you. It's over. Longbread stroked his forehead, thinking helplessly that it was too late to stop him. Charlotte Lingling still agreed. But it's okay, at least the favor can be refused. Under this premise, everyone readily agreed. Anyway, if others did not dare to kill, and they killed one casually, wouldn't it mean that all the other people would owe themselves a favor? How about using video recording? You must record the scene of the opponent's death before killing him. Several people readily agreed. After landing in the Valley of Gods, the competition between the two sides began. Valley of the Gods, Jialanxing frowned and looked in one direction. Those guys are coming. The arrival of Rocks and others disrupted their hunting plan, but now, they have to change to resist the invasion of Rocks pirates, and those Tianlong people who have no strength also need to retreat. Saint Satan was preparing to move this group of people, but due to the previous hunting, they were now scattered in various locations on the island, and they had to wait for them to come back before they could take everyone away. Hurry up and kill all the slaves on the island. If there are others, move there quickly. All members of the Rocks pirates have landed. It will be difficult to deal with it then. One of the little girls with a gun in their hands looked at everyone. The Wulaoxing side had issued an order to cover the retreat of the Tianlong people on the island, and then kill Rocks and Bai Ye. The other members did not need to deal with them with all their strength. At the same time, all the indigenous people on the island must be killed without leaving a single one behind. Then the hunt continues. A trace of cruelty flashed across Saint Garen's face. He did not choose to stop because of the arrival of the Rocks pirates. Since all the slaves on the island were to be killed in the end, this game was not over yet. Of course, I won't let you win, Galen, that the man with the mask on his head said calmly. The trophy I want for the Mamayers, that the little girl was also not ready to give up. Their game was far from over. The other members of the Knights of God also tacitly agreed not to object. Apparently they also believed that the hunt was not over yet. Big Bear, Ivankov, we must save ourselves. Elsewhere in the Valley of the Gods, Ginny was looking at Big Bear and Ivankov seriously. Now that the massacre on the island has begun, although they don't know if anyone will receive the message they sent, they should look for opportunities themselves instead of placing their hopes on others. What? Ivankov turned his head to look at Ginny, and the bear looked over curiously. Didn't we eavesdrop on their prizes before? There are devil fruits in them. If we can get those prizes before then we have a chance to get out of here. Ginny quickly reminded what she had heard from the previous eavesdropping. She was actually a little hesitant at first. After all, with their strength, if they tried to steal the devil fruit treasure chest, they would most likely not be able to get it and lose their lives, but the current situation is that if you don't go, you will die, but if you go, you may still survive. But now, aren't you looking for death in the past? There must be someone watching over there, right? Don't you see that the killings on the island seem to have stopped for a while now? And many Tianlong people seem to be leaving in a hurry. I guess there should be other forces involved. Although I am not sure, this is our only hope. Ginny had no idea what the current situation was, and had no way of determining it, so she could only think of the best. The celestial dragon was a little hurried when he passed by the place where she was hiding just now. She also used this to analyze it, but Ginny was not sure whether the other party was in a hurry to kill other slaves, but she doesn't want to wait for death here, so she might as well give it a try. Okay, I listen to you. The bear nodded and agreed. Then I'll go too. Ivankov also did not refuse. It was thanks to Ginny that the three of them survived until now, so he was willing to believe in Ginny. The three-person team also quietly moved toward the location where the devil fruit was hidden. On the west coast of the Valley of Gods, a large number of people from the world government are already waiting here. After learning about the Rocks pirates' arrival and landing location, the world government sent people to block it here in advance. The purpose is just to delay time. The people here are just expendable cannon fodder. Young men, go ahead and kill me. Anything on the island that you steal is yours. Let the world government know what the price is for stealing the treasures of our Rocks pirates. At Rox's order, the pirates present instantly became excited. When they were on the ship, they already knew that there were many treasures on the island, and there were also the best devil fruits. Many people wanted to eat one of the best devil fruits and fly into the sky. Bai Ye, a living example, is right in front of them. Oh, I'm really full of energy. The magnetic field in Bai Ye's hand rotated for a moment, and then disappeared completely. It sounded like he really wanted to have an electromagnetic storm here. After eating the magnetic fruit, Bai Ye discovered that his thunder fruit seemed to have awakened an extraordinary characteristic. Under the interaction of the two fruits, he also understood how strong the electromagnetic force was, and even felt a little lucky that he had eaten it in the first place. It is such a fruit. Aren't you going up yet? Captain John stepped over Bai Ye and turned his head to look at Bai Ye curiously. He would not wait for Bai Ye. He would take all the treasures he got by then. No one can touch their own treasure. Humph, if I grab that fruit, I won't give it to you. Kaido passed by Byakuya and said calmly that although Rox had already made up his mind, he also put his words here. If he took it away, he would eat it directly, although he preferred the fantasy beast. Plant that fruit. I really want to see how you snatch this fruit from me. Bai Ye was calm. He already knew where the fruit was. The thunder fruit had such an advantage. He knew the location of the prize by following the direction of Ginny and others. Moreover, after eating the magnetic fruit, his Xian gang is much stronger than before, the positioning based on the magnetic field is more accurate. After all, the animal system has a special magnetic field, taking out the live phone bug, he was already prepared. He was going to do a big event today. Watching the Rock's pirates leave one after another, the entrance that was originally blocked by the world government's human wall has already been killed. Countless pirates have rushed into the Valley of Gods and are preparing to plunder. Hey, can you hear me? Bai Ye approached the phone bug curiously. This was the first time he used this kind of phone bug. The live phone bug can spread the signal to some connected locations. This one was also taken away from the auction house. Through the screen, Bai Ye's face appeared on some screens of the 4 Seas and the Grand Route. Cyborg Kong, who received the broadcast signal from his subordinate at the Navy headquarters, gritted his teeth and looked at the face on the screen. What on earth is this bastard doing? He is actually live streaming, and he is also live streaming the Valley of the Gods. At this time, Morgans, who was just starting out, seemed to have discovered some business opportunities, and immediately put his newsbirds into action, and helped Bai Ye broadcast the live broadcast to more parts of the world. He got secret information. Bai Ye killed a Tianlong man, and Bai Ye was broadcasting live at this time. According to Morgans, there must be some big news. He must use this matter to make his newspaper stronger. He wants to monopolize the world. News, and this is an opportunity. Originally it was only a live broadcast in a few places, but the world government responded quickly and killed the signal. However, with Morgan's participation, the only live broadcast from his place was still broadcast. Check. Which bastard is still broadcasting? Holy Land Marie Joya, Nazho Langshan clenched the knife in his hand and wanted to kill the guy who was still broadcasting. If what happens in the Valley of Gods is exposed, the face of their world government will be ruined. Valley of the Gods. How's it going? Do you have any pictures? Bai Ye took out a phone bug and dialed a number, and a shadow clone in the Shampoo Islands glanced at the live broadcast and said, yes. Okay, just keep watching. Now that there is a picture, it is easier to handle. First, the surrounding electromagnetic field was blocked, leaving only his own live phone bug to be used. The other phone bugs were all disabled in an instant, and the next second they were controlled by Bai Ye and projected Bai Ye's picture. Let me introduce myself first. I am the captain of the 4th Division of the Rock Pirates. The location we are currently in is the Valley of the Gods. Yes, it is not marked on the map, but it is a very interesting place. Tianlong people in the hunting ground, a hunting game is being held here, where the celestial dragons hunt slaves. Bai Ye explained the surrounding environment lightly. Since he had decided to become an enemy of the world government, Bai Ye could not let go of such a good opportunity as the Valley of Gods. The world government would never dare to expose the incident in the Valley of Gods, and Bai Ye wanted to do just that. He doesn't like to be an unknown hero, and as Bai Ye's word spread around the world, Morgans could no longer restrain his impulse. His broadcast was tagged with the name of his newspaper. How could he not be excited? He could already imagine what his newspaper would do after this incident. What a great being it will become. He now wants to hold Bai Ye and kiss her. He is simply his biological father. Explain. Must say more. Here's to some more exciting news. So, from now on, I also want to play a game with the Tianlong people. I think that I am the supreme creator and the god of the world. Can I be calm in the face of death? Now, the offense and defense have been exchanged with the Tianlong people. It's ugly. Live on, keep escaping and escaping just to live. From now on, I announce that the hunting game has officially begun, so let everyone see if the blood shed by the celestial dragons is the same as that of ordinary people. Madman. The Tianlong people who were in the Valley of Gods only felt a sense of fear. They never imagined that one day they would become the target of being hunted. That guy is the one who must be killed, right? Jalinshin glanced at the picture, and a sneer flashed in his heart, hunting the celestial dragons. And it was live broadcast in public, he had to kill this guy. CP people quickly bring the Tianlong people over. Saint Satan ordered with a sullen face. He still wouldn't believe what others said, but Bai Ye was different. This madman had just killed a celestial dragon on the Shamboard Islands. Chapter 89 Kaido joins, Let the World Feel the Pain. Super Shinra Tensei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 89, Kaido joins, Let the World Feel the Pain, Super Shinra Tensei. What the hell is that bastard Bai Ye doing? On the God's Valley Island, Golden Lion suddenly regretted agreeing to Bai Ye's outrageous challenge. I was planning to kill one or two secretly, but Bai Ye actually broadcast it live. Is this how you kill Tianlong people? Others more or less have the same idea as Golden Lion, and no one dares to live broadcast directly like Bai Ye. At the same time, there was also a trace of doubt in their hearts. If Byakuya wanted to leave the Rocks Pirates or continue to stay here, wouldn't he be afraid of being hunted down by the world government? But this hunting game seems to be really interesting. When Bai Ye did this, everyone's blood boiled instantly. I found it, let's start over there. Bai Ye closed his eyes, and he had already sensed the location of Jinny and others. From Shinzuna's perception, he could see several devil fruits over there. There are 3 in total, one of which has even been transferred. If this one is transferred, then the fruit left here will be the remaining meatball fruit and the blue dragon form of the phantom beast species in the original work. Without any time to think, Bai Ye teleported directly to the location where the devil fruit was hidden, pointed at CP0 and said, "Put that box down, and I can let you go." According to perception, there are only 3 fruits here, and 3 more seem to have been moved, then these 3 are what you must get. Lanjiao. CP0 didn't reply, and kicked Bai Ye directly, dodging easily. Bai Ye took a step, grabbed CP0's neck and broke the opponent's neck. He picked up the treasure box that fell on the ground, opened it and took a look. Bai Ye was also a little surprised by the devil fruit inside. 2 fruits are connected in parallel on a branch, with a red heart on the left and a purple heart on the right. There are also love patterns on the fruit. This is the sweet fruit, the devil fruit belonging to the Empress in the original work. Putting away the fruits, Bai Ye also set his sights on the high platform. There are 2 fruits on top of this. Not only Bai Ye noticed this, but also Jinny and others who had just arrived here. "Big Bear, hurry up," Jinny said quickly after seeing Byakuya's eyes noticing the devil fruit on the stage. The Big Bear is the most powerful person here, and only by letting the Big Bear eat the fruit can they have a chance to leave. Seeing the 3 people running towards the fruit in a hurry, Charlotte Lingling, who was coming from a distance, also shouted, "Bai Ye, hurry up and stop those brats." Bai Ye stood there and seemed to have no intention of stopping it. Was he going to watch these 2 fruits being destroyed by those brats? "The trophies here are all mine, little devils," Bai Ye murmured softly, and then quickly came to the high platform in a blink of an eye. He raised his hand and took both treasure boxes. He opened them and took a look. The meatball fruit and the fish fruit were there in the form of a blue dragon, a fantasy beast. Taken away. Jinny looked a little bitter, originally thinking that they could secretly eat the 2 fruits while Bai Ye and CP0 were taking action. What they didn't expect was that Bai Ye solved CP0 too quickly. They had just gotten close to the Gao Tai fruit when Bai Ye got it. "How about making a deal with Bai Ye? Give me that fruit. I owe you a big favor." Compared to Charlotte Lingling, who was a little pity, Kaido couldn't help but directly ask Bai Ye to give him this fruit. Charlotte Lingling has the soul fruit herself and doesn't need it at all. She may want to take it for her children to eat, or she may exchange it for Kaido in exchange for a favor later. It was a pity that she didn't get it at most, but Kaido was different. He also knew how powerful a top-quality devil fruit could be for him, temporarily blocking the live broadcast signal. Bai Ye looked at the devil fruit in his hand with interest and raised it in front of Kaido, and said, "Kaido, I will make a deal with you. From today on, you will become the deputy captain of my pirate group. As long as one day, I mean any time, you can defeat me, you will be the captain of this pirate group. How about I be the deputy captain? If you promise me, I will give you this fruit." Kaido has all the despicable characteristics of a pirate, but he also values his promises. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many strong men in the anime willing to follow him. Anyone who can get to that point doesn't have any personality charm, and Byakuya also gave Kaido hope that as long as he can defeat himself, he can become the captain of this pirate group. After hearing Bai Ye's request, Charlotte Lingling said nothing and turned to look at Kaido. Before, she was just thinking about exchanging a favor, but she never thought about asking Kaido to join her pirate group, but is Byakuya really so confident that he won't be defeated by Kaido in the future? He is from the Ghost Clan and has a very strong talent. Kaido was a little hesitant. Byakuya's conditions were very good. As long as he could defeat Byakuya, he could be the captain. If he couldn't defeat him, he would be the vice-captain. This was in line with Kaido's life creed. He only believed in the strong. Like Rocks, although he had other thoughts about joining the Rocks pirates, he admired Rocks from the bottom of his heart. I can promise you that after the matter in the Valley of the Gods is over, Kaido will be the vice-captain of your pirate group, but you must keep your promise accordingly. If one day you lose, you must become my vice-captain. Kaido's eyes flickered, and he finally made his own decision. He didn't believe that he would not be able to beat Bai Ye in the future. After eating the mythical beast species, he would become stronger. If he let Bai Ye become his vice-captain in time, their pirate group would be expected to become or even surpass the Rocks pirates. But if he still couldn't beat Bai Ye, then he would give up. After all, if Bai Ye could suppress him for a lifetime, he would be convinced. Then make good use of this azure dragon fruit. As he said, Bai Ye threw the azure dragon fruit to Kaido, who took it and grinned. I will not necessarily use the power of this fruit to defeat your captain. He had already thought of the scene where Bai Ye would be defeated by him in a few years or more than 10 years, so he would let him be the captain for more than 10 years, as if he had returned the favor of this fruit. Kid, do you want to join my pirate group? Bai Ye turned his head and looked at the other three people. Kuma's talent is top-notch. Jinny's current strength is not strong, but she can pass on intelligence under the blockade of the world government. It is no problem for her to collect intelligence on a pirate group. Ivankov can be transferred to the ship's doctor in the later stage. With Kaido as a fighter, the prototype of his own pirate group has also been formed. The captain is himself, the second-in-command Kaido, the third-in-command Kuma, and Old John invited to do logistics and financial work for him. If Hawkeye, Empress and others can be invited to join in the later stage, his ship can basically walk sideways in the world. Jinny, who reacted first, looked at Bai Ye in disbelief. He actually invited them to join the pirate group, but what followed was a surprise. If they took action, it seemed that leaving here was not impossible. That's right, you are the ones who sent out the information, you are very talented, join me, and I will give you this meatball fruit. As he said, Bai Ye placed the fruit in front of Xiong, but Xiong did not immediately agree, turned his head to look at Jinny, and with a slight nod from the other party, Xiong took the fruit handed to him by Bai Ye and said, please give me more advice, Captain. That's almost it, Kaido, you take them away from here first, wait for me nearby, or you can follow Charlotte Lin, I still have important things to do. Bai Ye turned his head and looked at Kaido. Since Xiong has accepted it, then he is his partner. In the pirate world, anyone with a bit of strength will basically keep his promise, and he is not afraid that the other party will go back on his word. It seems that the disease behind Jinny's words must be treated with the operation fruit. Bai Ye was not very interested in the operation fruit, but even without the operation fruit, there should be a way to treat it with the power of other worlds, right? Got it. Becoming a captain starts to order people around. Kaido said in a muffled voice. He was very unhappy that Bai Ye asked him to take care of a few little ones. Moreover, there were only a few children, and you actually gave them a fruit to win them over. It was a waste. But fortunately, he got the Azure Dragon form. He thought that this was also his crew. After defeating Bai Ye, these people would naturally follow him. It doesn't matter. Just treat it as protecting his crew. Thinking of this, Kaido's eyes softened a lot when he looked at the few people. Hey, I didn't agree to take care of these little ghosts. Charlotte Lingling was unhappy instantly. What do you mean? Anyway, you won't continue to fight on the island. Are you going to fight for the Rocks pirates? For Charlotte Lingling, she didn't care about the life and death of the Rock's pirates at all. She joined here just for her own purpose, having her thoughts seen through. Charlotte Lingling couldn't help but lick her lips, and asked with a flash of interest in her eyes, "Bai Ye, why don't we have a baby? I think our 2 children should be very smart, fuck. Isn't this woman going to give birth to a Wanzu? I am just an ordinary human, why does she have to have a child with me? Bai Ye, what are you going to do?" Kaido actually wants to do something big, but he also knows that he is not good enough here, and people will die in this battlefield if he is not careful. "Didn't I just say that the game between me and the celestial dragons has begun? You leave first. That are you really going to kill the celestial dragons?" Kaido thought he was crazy enough, but he didn't expect that there were even crazier than him. It seems that following Bai Ye is not a bad choice. A flash of excitement flashed in Kaido's eyes. He really hates the calm state. Then let him see how far Bai Ye can go. He suddenly became curious about how long this wind would last. The signal was restored. Morgans, who was originally very anxious, could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that Bai Ye had deliberately cut off the signal just now. In the picture, Charlotte Lin, Kaido and others had disappeared, and Bai Ye was the only one there. Then Bai Ye seemed to sense something, and the picture changed and he came to a hidden valley again. Here, many Tianlong people are waiting for Satan to come and transfer them away, and when they saw the sudden arrival of Bai Ye, all the Tianlong people panicked. This guy just said in the live broadcast that he wanted to kill the Tianlong people. "I found you." A cruel smile flashed across Bai Ye's face. Under his perception, he would know wherever the Tianlong people were hiding. "If you dare to move." Before one of the Tianlong people could finish speaking, his neck was cut off by Bai Ye in an instant. This moment made the originally nervous Tianlong people panic. The CP0s guarding outside rushed over, but it was too late. Bai Ye raised his hand and directly killed a Tianlong man next to him with another sword. It seems that the celestial dragons can also bleed, and they also have red blood. "I thought the blood of the descendants of gods was different from ordinary people like us," Bai Ye said jokingly, and the myth of the dragon man seemed to be torn apart by Bai Ye bit by bit at this moment. "Kill him." That while the CP0s were attacking Bai Ye, some were protecting the celestial dragons and preparing to cover the other celestial dragons to leave. Professing to be the creator of the world and the descendant of God, he has always trampled everyone under his feet. He is aloof and thinks that everyone except himself is despicable garbage. People who don't know pain cannot understand true peace. Feeling pain, consider the pain, understand the pain. From now on, let the world feel the pain. That the interaction between the thunder fruit and the magnetic fruit made the unsuspecting Tianlong and CP0 people feel a strong force squeezing the inside of their bodies in this slightly closed environment. The capillaries could not bear it at first, and the skin began to seep blood continuously, and then the internal organs began to be damaged. People watching the live broadcast felt extremely shocked after seeing this scene. This is the power of the thunder fruit. The valley couldn't bear the strong gravitational and repulsive force, and everything around it was instantly destroyed by the destruction of this force. The corpses of the so-called descendants of gods, the creators of the world, were scattered all over the ground, and some of them could not even be found. This scene shocked even Morgans, who was being broadcast. He actually killed so many Tianlong people at once. Is this guy really not afraid at all? At this moment, Morgans could no longer treat this matter with the previous idea of making his newspaper more famous. He knew very well that he would definitely be troubled by the world government in the future. After all, this kind of thing was broadcast by him to many people, and even if the world government wanted to suppress it, it could not suppress it. Everyone knows that the blood of the celestial dragons is no different from that of ordinary people. The celestial dragons can also be killed. They are no longer the creators of high myths, but guys who are also mortal. But when he thought about it, he had already done this anyway. The worst he could do was stay in the sky. He didn't believe that the world government could come to catch him in the air. His newspaper office was still moving, so it wouldn't be that easy to catch him. "Go to hell, you guy." Behind Bai Ye, a gloomy voice was full of murderous intent. Seeing so many Tianlong people being killed by Bai Ye, Saint Satan was really angry this time. Chapter 90. Saint Satan, do you want to dance too? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 90, Satan Saint. Do you want to dance too? Satan Saint admitted that he was a little careless. He instinctively ignored the ability of the Thunder Fruit. Even if he hid well, it would be easy for the other party to find the hidden celestial dragons in front of the Thunder Fruit, and his biggest mistake was that he had less defensive forces, and he should have given priority to transferring a group of celestial dragons away, but now it's too late to say anything. Bai Ye not only killed so many celestial dragons, but also started live broadcasting. Now many people around the world are watching Bai Ye killing celestial dragons. If this behavior is imitated by others, it will definitely be a big blow to the world government. He is breaking the myth of celestial dragons in everyone's heart. Satan Saint also knew at this moment that he had to kill Bai Ye, otherwise Bai Ye, who had killed so many celestial dragons, would leave the Valley of God alive, and the meaning would be completely different. Originally, I thought that CP0 might be able to delay for a while, and then someone would come to support, and I would transfer the celestial dragons away first. I didn't expect Bai Ye to get rid of everyone here in an instant. In fact, Saint Satan didn't want to be seen by people all over the world during the live broadcast, but now he couldn't control it. All the electronic equipment on the island was controlled by Bai Ye. It was impossible to block the signal. Although the signal was being broadcasted by the world government, it was constantly being cut off, but the newspaper was determined to broadcast it and use this incident to make a name for itself, so it was just cut off here, and then it was restored the next second. So, they could only send the Navy from various places to drive ordinary people away, but this was a drop in the bucket. It didn't seem important to expose the real body at the moment. The important thing was to kill Bai Ye completely. Click. When Saint Satan's scepter was about to hit Bai Ye, a silver-white light wrapped Bai Ye in it, and then the silver-white energy began to expand the bones continuously, and a half-skeleton energy body holding a long sword appeared in front of him. What is this? Satan Sheng's eyes condensed, and a trace of surprise flashed through his mind. He knew very well that Bai Ye was the user of the Thunder Fruit, and this one was obviously not the one. Just now, he had fixed Bai Ye at that moment, leaving him no way to leave. The Thunder Fruit user whose movements were restricted, he was confident that he could kill the other party with his full force attack. However, the silver-white energy on his body blocked this. Looking at Bai Ye's back gradually turning around, he was shocked after seeing the other party's eyes. What an evil pair of eyes! Blood-red eyes, eyes that he had never seen before, and this could actually cause his eyes to mutate. Is this the ability of a special race? Satan Sheng secretly calculated in his heart, and he also had a little guess about Bai Ye's ability. Knowing that Bai Ye is a user of ability, his other abilities seem to be only available to special races, and there are indeed many races with special abilities in this world, but it's the first time he has seen Bai Ye. I didn't expect that the 5 elders, the highest authority in the world government, would choose to attack by surprise. Bai Ye turned around and looked at Satan Saint with a teasing look. He was not surprised at all that this guy came to him. After hearing Bai Ye expose his identity, he couldn't help but flash a trace of surprise in his heart. His identity was absolutely confidential. It was impossible for him to know his identity. This was also heard by everyone through the live broadcast, and at the same time, they also noticed that the old man in front of them was actually one of the highest authorities in the world government. Hey! Now is not the time to be distracted. In the Valley of Gods, Whitebeard hurriedly resisted the move of the comber, and a trace of gloom flashed in his eyes. This guy named Garen Saint is so strong. Ha ha ha, that guy was actually found by the 5 elders. Rox laughed loudly, and then blocked the joint efforts of Roger and Garp. Originally, after he arrived on the island, he planned to get the treasure first and then attack the celestial dragons, but before he could make a move, Roger came up to him. He would not tolerate it. After all, he was just a defeated general. Originally, he had the upper hand, but with the addition of Garp, and the masters and navy hidden here by the world government, Rox came. He was a little passive in the battle now, and at the same time, he felt a little helpless in his heart, although he knew that his team was temporarily formed and might not be so reliable. But this is too unreliable, right? Now, his observation color sensed the ability of Whitebeard's tremor fruit, which can prove that Whitebeard was fighting with people, but Charlotte Lin and Kaido seemed to have no intention of fighting at all. Although the Golden Lion was fighting, he was stopped by Rayleigh and Jabba. John was getting treasures, and the others had their own thoughts. This made him a little passive. "Little ghost, you seem to know me very well," Satan Saint said in a deep voice. He did not take Bai Ye seriously at this moment. No matter how strong he is not Nika, nor Joey Boy. He must die here today. However, his ability did arouse the interest of Saint Satan. In the world government, Saint Satan was in charge of scientific research. As a scientist, Saint Satan was still very interested in the special abilities of these races. That's all. The sneak attack from behind is worthy of the despicable world government. In terms of despicableness, it seems that it is not as good as you pirates, right? Satan said lightly. Really? But pirates are indeed despicable, but they are much better than the so-called celestial dragons. Speaking of which, it feels really good to kill so many celestial dragons today. What do you think? Watching celestial dragons die in front of you? Although these guys are just trash to you, it's embarrassing, right? And being watched live by so many people, Bai Ye did not deny the despicableness of pirates. There are actually very few pirates like Luffy. Most pirates can even kill the captain for profit, burning, killing, looting and committing all kinds of evil. This is the real pirate, but in the final analysis, what is more disgusting than pirates is the world government. If it weren't for the celestial dragons, there wouldn't be so many pirates in the world. Are you still bragging here when you are about to die? Satan Saint said lightly. Is this just for the sake of a momentary verbal pleasure? Wait until he catches Bai Ye or kills him, and then study his eyes carefully. Satan Saint looked at Bai Ye deeply, and his hands tightened a little. Both sides were ready to attack. He has no way to confirm Bai Ye's ability at present, but he has little time left. The moment Bai Ye killed the celestial dragons, he received instructions from him. Since he couldn't control the live broadcast source, the island should disappear completely, just in time to let people all over the world see the power of the world government, which can also completely suppress the ideas of many people. Therefore, he must try his best to completely kill Bai Ye during the live broadcast, or wait until that time to move away from here. In short, everything left on this island at that time will be buried with him. Satan Saint. That this kid seems to want to say something. But in the next second, before Satan Saint could react, Bai Ye's figure disappeared from the spot. He didn't even have time to be surprised. He was immediately kicked away by Bai Ye. His body kept smashing towards a mountain. Before he could smash towards the mountain, Bai Ye appeared on his head and then punched him directly into the ground. With a bang, a deep pit of dozens of meters appeared in it. Bai Ye lifted Satan Saint's neck with one hand, looked at him indifferently and asked, "Do you want to dance too?" How? How could it be? Satan Saint's injuries were recovering rapidly. His pupils turned down with difficulty to look at Bai Ye. A trace of frustration flashed through his mind. He had just used his ability to fix Bai Ye. Why could Bai Ye still move? At the neck, Bai Ye's strength gradually increased. Satan Saint felt that his breathing was getting more and more difficult. At the same time, he also understood that if he continued like this, it would not only be a matter of embarrassment. He didn't care about not exposing his true identity. Just as he was about to release his ability, a hurricane blew between the two of them. Suddenly, Bai Ye felt that the hurricane took him away, and he flew away with the wind. Turning his head to look at the edge, the four people were looking at the battlefield from a distance. Bai Ye patted the dust on his clothes, which made one of them feel a little unhappy. Did his attack just add some dust to the opponent? Saint Satan is really a bit embarrassed, that among the four people, there was a masked man, a long-haired woman, a little girl with a gun, and a young man with a scar on the left corner of his eye, 3 members of the Knights of God and one of the masters hidden here by the world government. After receiving the final order from him, their hunting game was cancelled. They were arranged to come to support Saint Satan to kill Bai Ye, and someone from Rocks also went there. As for the rest, I didn't pay much attention. At present, as long as the slaves on the island, Bai Ye and Rocks were killed, the matter would be over. In the end, she will use that thing to kill the island and the slaves on the island, and Bai Ye and Rocks will do it themselves. Have you made a decision? Satan Saint said lightly. Although he was a little unhappy, the other party's identity was not much worse than his own. They were also composed of celestial dragons. Satan Saint also knew very well when he saw them coming. It was likely that him had made a decision. Well, the live broadcast can't be cut off now. Let's solve it as soon as possible. Originally, without this live broadcast, many things would be easy to do, but because the live broadcast is here, and Morgans has been broadcasting here, and also played a newspaper live broadcast, using the news bird to fly all over the world, and then release the information of the Valley of God, on the one hand, it makes the sales of that newspaper soar. After all, many people can no longer watch the live broadcast in the place controlled by the world government. On the other hand, because they really want to know at this moment, then let Morgan's newspaper become famous directly this time. After seeing the benefits, Morgan's is naturally more reluctant to stop, therefore, the world government is in a difficult situation. They can only solve it as soon as possible and let the world see their power. That guy is very weird. Satan Shing's injuries have long since recovered. Although Bai Ye's previous 2 punches were indeed powerful enough, he could recover in minutes. However, Bai Ye's strange ability also surprised Saint Satan a little. Similarly, more people are actually interested. Maybe they should study it carefully by then. Then they must kill Bai Ye before that happens. Otherwise, if Bai Ye dies on that, I'm afraid it will be difficult to find Bai Ye's body. It's not that simple anymore. The others didn't say much. They knew very well that Bai Ye did have 2 brushes. That guy is dead. On a Navy warship, the curly-haired general held a cigarette in his mouth and looked at the live broadcast. He also sentenced Bai Ye to death in his heart. As a general, he has relatively many contacts. Although Bai Ye's performance just now surprised him, in the current situation, Bai Ye has no chance of resisting. It's like no one in this world can be the opponent of 2 generals. The combined combat power of these guys surpasses the 2 generals. That's it. He lowered his head in thought, but he had a different idea in his heart. 5 against 1. Bai Ye glanced at a few people with interest, and when he talked about it, he felt as if he had seen this scene before. Don't blame us for being mean. After all, you are a pirate, and our world government can only represent justice and eliminate you. The little girl with the gun in her hand had obviously watched Bai Ye's live broadcast before, and in turn choked Bai Ye. Although she actually doesn't care much about those celestial dragons, the glory of the celestial dragons is what she cares about the most, people who trample on the glory of their celestial dragons. She will never allow the other party to survive. It's such a pity. Such a cute little brother will be just a corpse later. A strange smile flashed at the corner of the long-haired woman's mouth, and then she licked the corner of her mouth. She likes blood the most. Looking at the living person gradually losing life, the struggle was like prey, the strong desire to live, the joy before death. This was also the most enjoyable thing for her. I won't call you despicable. 5-on-1 is just the right time to play with you. As he spoke, Bai Ye formed a seal with his hands, and the 25 clones surrounded all 5 of them under the shocked eyes of several people. This is called 5 against 1. Don't call me despicable. After all, you are Tianlong people, so now I have one question: should 25 clones use Susanoo? What kind of ability is it? P.S. The update time may be a little unstable during the Chinese New Year. Sorry QAQ.